Wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet, we welcome you again to another exciting edition of Radio Biafra live broadcast on this very day, the 22nd day of March in the year of our Most High Chukwukika Biama 2020. The time now is precisely 8 minutes past 7 p.m. in the land of Biafra. The same number of minutes past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are domiciled, what you are doing. We are here to propagate the gospel of the living God in heaven. We are here to spread the gospel of redemption, the gospel of hope, the gospel of freedom, the gospel of restoration, the gospel of truth, the gospel of enlightenment, the gospel of education, this very gospel that will lead us into that very promised land that the Almighty God in heaven, Chukwukika Biama Pruminyanin, promised us in times of old, which we must make manifest in this very time, because the time has come for Biafra. There is no other period in our existence more suited to the salvation of a people who are in danger of becoming extinct than now. That is the duty of IPOB, that is the job we are doing, and that is what we must continue to do until Biafra is restored in our time. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to each and every one of you, regardless of where you are domiciled, what you are doing, what you are encountering, this very coronavirus, this very modern plague of our time. My prayer now and always shall be that Chukwukika Biama protect, guide, and shield each and every one of you, regardless, I say, regardless of where you are listening from. Our hearts go out to those who have lost loved ones in this very pandemic, more especially, of course, not directly related to what is happening, but the family of Obienu, our own very principal officer of state, Mazi Obienu, that lost his very precious mother. We also remember our Africa rep, our continental rep, Mazi George Onibe. These are servants of the Most High, doing wonderful work, but are in a very difficult situation at the moment, because before we come on air, I understand that George Onibe's younger brother also passed in India. Our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts are with the families of Obienu and Onibe at this very point in time, on behalf of not just IPOB, the whole world, my family, my immediate family. We say, please accept our most profound and deepest condolences at your loss. Only Chukwukika Biama knows everything. Only him can determine who lives and who passes on. But be rest assured that you are in our prayers. We are thinking about you, these very noble families, the Obienu family, and also the Onibe family. Our hearts go out to all these people. You are in our thoughts. We are one big family stretching from end to end of this very earth. Just know that you have your brothers and your sisters always with you. And we shall be able to fulfill our obligation as it is right for us to do so. Before we continue, we must pray as it is customary for us to pray now and always, because Elohim is in heaven, presiding over the affairs of men on this very earth. what we are encountering, or should I say what humanity is encountering now, is unprecedented. And as my statement quite rightly alluded to earlier, it is a once in a lifetime event. It happens, I think, about every 100 years or thereabout. We must take this very, very seriously and do all we can to protect our people, our children, our families, that we may remain safe to fulfill this very purpose for which God in heaven created us, which is to restore Biafra. We must pray. Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, onye kere eluigwe ma kee elu ụwa, onye ịhụnanya ya na ebere ya na-adịghị agwụ agwụ, Chineke nna nke usu niile nke ndị agha, onye ihe niile o kere eke na-akpụ isi ala nye, mmụọ na mmadụ na-ajaghị mma, ọlụ aka gị bụ ihe mbara igwe na-egosi. Onye nwe anyị bi n'igwe, biko na anyị na-arịọ gị ka iwe gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka, ka iwe bịa, ka iwe zọpụta ndị gị na ụmụ gị nọ n'ekworo wee nọ n'ahụhụ, ihe isi ike wee karịa, mkpagbu dị iche iche wee si ebe niile dị iche iche wee dakwasa ndị gị ezi ebube dị ngọzi, n'ihi na ọ bụghị mmasị nke gị na nke ebere ka anyị wee si etu a wee na-ata ahụ ụbọchị niile. Aka ndị iro wee bịagide anyị, obodo ekwensu bụ Naijiria, obodo ọchịchịrị nna nke ebere bụ obodo ekwensu, wee be ekwensu họpụtara lugard ka o wee pụta wee rụọ ọrụ ọchịchịrị n'ime ndụ ụmụ gị. Chineke nna nke igwe anyị wee na-arịọ gị ka ihe gị wee bata n'ime ndụ anyị, n'ọba asụsụ eluigwe ka anyị na-asụrụ gị, n'ihi na ebe ị nọ ndị mmụọ ozi gbara gị okirikiri wee were asụsụ ndị Igbo wee na-akpụ isi ala nye gị. Ha sị na ịdị nsọ Chineke nna, onye kere eluigwe n'ụwa na ịdị nsọ, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ na ịdị nsọ, isi iyi nke ndụ na ịdị nsọ. Onweghị ihe ọbụla eji ama atụsụ na ọ bụ ya yiri gị. Nke ọjọọ mee anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọma mee anyị wee nye ha nsọ gị otuto, n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye tozuru ikpu isi ala nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Gị onwe gị bụ onye nọ tupu mgbe wee malite, gị onwe gị bụ onye kere nwoke ma kee nwaanyị, ma kee ụtụtụ ma kee ehihie ma kee abalị. Chineke nna nke dị nsọ, eze ndị eze kachasị ihe niile elu, anyị na-aja gị mma mgbe niile, anyị na-aja gị mma n'ụtụtụ wee na-aja gị mma n'ehihie wee na-aja gị mma n'abalị, n'ihi na onweghị onye ọbụla dị ka gị, eze ebube dị ngọzi. Eze ndị nsọ, bikonu mere anyị ebere, mere anyị ebere wee zọpụta anyị n'aka ajọ ihe. Bịakwa n'otu aka ka iwe gbaghara anyị mmehie, n'ihi na anyị onwe anyị bụ anụkpa ahụ. Agbanyeghị ihe niile nke anyị na-agabiga, mgbe ụfọdụ mmadụ dị ndụ ga-amanye aka site na-amaghị ama. Biko na onye nwe anyị na Chineke na-asacha anyị ka anyị wee dị ọcha, ka ihu gị wee chaa n'ebe anyị nọ, ka ihe gị wee mụbaa n'ebe anyị nọ, ka ngọzi gị nke pụrụ iche wee nọ n'etiti ndị gị bụ ezinụlọ nke gị onwe gị ji aka gị wee hiwe, bụ IPOB n'ụwa niile. Chineke nna nke ebere dị ngọzi ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, biko bịa ka iwe mere ndị gị ebere, tụmadị ndị niile bụ ndị na-akpọku aha nsọ gị n'ime mmụọ ma n'ime eziokwu. Mgbe niile ka anyị na-arịọ gị ezi ebube dị ngọzi, biko si n'ihe ọjọọ obodo ekwensị bizu ma gbezuga ndị gị, ka ịhụnanya gị wee mụbaa n'ebe anyị nọ, ka Biafra wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị dịka isi wee kwuo anyị na nkwa, ka anyị wee bulie ya elu, wee jaa gị mma, wee gọzie gị, wee kpụ isi ala nye gị, wee rụọrọ gị ụlọ ukwu na arọchukwu dịka ndị Igbo si wee kwadobu eze ebube dị ngọzi. Ka ihe gị wee bata n'ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra, ka esikwa otu a nna nke ebere dị ngọzi wee mee ka ezi ihe wee bata n'ime Afrịka, n'ihi na Biafra bụ ụzọ nke ihe ga-esi wee bata n'ime Afrịka. Chineke nna nke igwe, ka otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma na mbuli elu sọsọ wee dịrị sọsọ gị nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi ka anyị na-arịọ gị. Ise. I felt like praying in the language of the ancients. As I keep saying all the time, this is the language that the angels are worshiping God with right now in heaven. For it is worthy and right for us to praise Elohim always. I welcome you once again. I'm Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet. And by the very special grace of the same God we call upon all the time, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. And we must see this very divine project to its logical conclusion, for there is no other way There is no other option. There is no other means left for us through which we can once again re-establish our presence on this very earth as the very chosen children of the Most High, the children of light, only through Biafra. And that is precisely what we have come to do this very evening, to propagate this very gospel, to preach the truth, to enlighten and to educate our people who otherwise have been subsumed in darkness and iniquity of the damnable zoological republic. Nigeria is a zoo. Anybody who do not know that will need his or her brain examined. This evening we continue to dissect that abomination before God and before man. This evening we continue to reiterate and to demonstrate quite capably, I must say, that Nigeria is an abomination before God in heaven. Anybody who rises up to say he or she is a Nigerian, there is no way that person can make heaven. It is impossible. As we shall, of course, quite vividly demonstrate as we proceed this very evening, it is now dawning on most people who hitherto we are slightly hesitant about conceding to the fact that the zoo is finished. Now it is very clear. Regardless of what they do in Delta State, we are sadly, Ifeanyi Okowa is helping the Janjaweed from the north to be arresting, to be molesting, and to be killing our people in Delta State. They are trying to use the cover of coronavirus to perpetrate atrocities and evil in Delta. We must hold them responsible. We must hold them responsible in Delta State. That very person who is there, that Janjaweed, that Fulani Alamajiri, that is the police commissioner, that very director of DSS in Delta, we would hold you directly responsible for all the atrocities you have been perpetrating against the children of Biafra in Delta State. The same Delta State that the zoo army cannot stop their, what should I say, their terrorist arm, which is Fulani headsman Miyetti Yala, from killing people. They want to decimate our numbers. They want to frighten us into not putting up a resistance against the hordes of the army of darkness from the Sahel. But they have lost because we remain in Delta, because Delta is Biafra land. We are going to hold each and every one of you responsible. We will hold each and every, all those involved in the persecution of Biafrans in Delta. Do not think that because the world is battling coronavirus, that somehow they are no longer going to pay attention to all your human rights abuses, especially against we Biafrans. We are documenting very meticulously every act of impunity, that the world may know and hold you to account at the appropriate time. We will not let go. We are not like any other set of people that you have ever seen. I am not like any other that may have come before me. Everybody responsible, each and every soul implicated in the persecution, arbitrary arrest, detention, summary execution of Biafrans will be held to account. That is an assurance. And they know it will happen. Because everything I say I'm going to do, I do. They know it is going to happen. Get your pen and paper ready this evening, because today is going to be a lecture of immense proportion. I must tell you this. Immense proportion. We are live, not just on my page on Facebook, which is the official Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for your information. There are many fake Facebook accounts, many fake ones that the Nigerian government deliberately created to divert traffic and attention away from this very truth that we preach on a regular and consistent basis. We have identified those fake pages, and I want them to be published this evening that the world may know what the zoo is up to. This is what they do all the time. They have come into IPOB through the back door, some of them, pretending they are one of us, selling forms and ID card, when they know for sure that we do not have or entertain the use of forms in IPOB. There is no form in IPOB. They know we are about to launch our security outfit, and they are going back and publishing, distributing and selling forms bearing BSS. But that is false. If you have wasted your money purchasing any form with BSS on it, you have been conned by the zoo government. The Nigerian government is busy collecting your names. I have warned you repeatedly, never ever put your name down on any piece of paper, on any form. Some of you will not listen. You won't listen. When they print those forms, they know how desperately we want Biafra. They know how we yearn for Biafra. That is why they keep tricking us all the time to give them our details. When they come in the night to arrest, to abduct you, nobody would know. Nobody would know. They are intensifying their persecution of Biafrans, IPOB family members in Delta, with the help of Delta State Governor, who incidentally is an Igbo man. Ifeanyi Okowa, that's his name. Joining Fulani people to be killing his own people, defending Delta State. Defending Delta State, a governor in our land. They go to Mali, they go to all parts of the Sahel to dredge up the very worst of the Fulani Janjaweed Brigade. Bring them down to our land to rape our mothers, to abduct our daughters, to kill our fathers, to decimate and to render us homeless. Destroy our means of livelihood. The only people that have risen up to fight these people is IPOB. To resist them is IPOB. We are the ones resisting them. And what are these corrupt governors doing? Because they have promised all of them vice presidency come 2099 or 2023. They have promised Wike vice president. They have promised Okowa vice president. They have promised Dave Umahi vice president. They have promised Okezipa as a vice president. The same vice presidency they have offered up to 6 of them. And in return, they are helping Fulani to persecute the same people that the zoo government have been killing on a daily basis. I keep saying it all the time, but of course some of you fail to listen. Only the Fulani have 5 terrorist groups. 5! You never hear about any northern governor persecuting Boko Haram. You never hear of any northern governor persecuting ISIS in West Africa, not minding that it was Buhari when he was alive and the caliphate, including the Sultan of Sokoto, that formed Boko Haram. Everybody knows that. They have never gone after them. When Ihejirika tried to go after Boko Haram, they removed him. Jonathan foolishly removed him. Now they have come into our land. Do you know there are places in Ebonyi State we can no longer go into? There are places in Ebonyi that we can no longer go into inside Ebonyi. These are Fulani settlements in Ebonyi State. They are coming. As usual, we have gone blind and deaf until it is too late. Until it is too late. Look at what Ifeanyi Okowa is doing in Delta. Somebody must remind Ifeanyi Okowa that Oju Zokalo served the zoo called Nigeria Today. He's in Kuje. Somebody must remind Ifeanyi Okowa in Delta State that Adaka Boro served Nigeria. Nigeria killed him. Somebody must remind Ifeanyi Okowa in Delta State that Kensra, we were served the North, served the Fulani against his own people. They killed him. Somebody must also tell this very man called Ifeanyi Okowa that history will not be kind to him, nor his family. This persecution going on in Delta State must come to an end. They abducted IPOB coordinator in Delta State, Chukwuma. They abducted him. He must be released. I understand they have killed about 4 people already. They go to your workshop, they go to your office and they abduct you. DSS and the police. DSS and the police. The same way they went to the business premises of John Chukwuma, our Delta, John Chukwuma is his name, and abducted him and whisked him away. They think that because the world is focused on coronavirus, somehow we will not remember to mention it. But we are letting the world know, I am letting Ifeanyi Okowa know that you're holding Mazi John Chukwuma. He is a Delta indigene, he is a Biafran. His name is John Chukwuma. He's Igbo. He is in Delta. You are holding him and you must release him. This is about the third time you've arrested him. Each time you people run out of money, you look for IPOB family members to arrest so you can make money through bail and all the rest of it. You share it into three. The prosecutor will get 1/3, the judge in the case will get 1/3, and the police and DSS will pocket the other. You people are making money with the lives of your own people. Ifeanyi Okowa, you are the governor of Delta State. You are the one lamenting and complaining that Fulani terrorists are in your state, killing, maiming, and raping our mothers in that very state. IPOB is doing all it can to stop them. Because we are checkmating them successfully. That was why you connived. You connived with a Fulani, police commission. And I ask you, when are you people going to stop this, your stupidity, unmitigated disaster you're bringing upon yourselves because of the advancement of your career? Nnamdi, as I shall prove later in this very program, did the same nonsense. He saw the light. He decided to go back into darkness. Look at where we are today. Is anyone happy? Why is it that the same template that you people, Ifeanyi Okowa, the same template you have followed over and over and over again and never yielded any tangible result is exactly the same thing you're replicating right now as a governor? You think that the Fulanis will love you, people that drive cattle from place to place, very primitive people with no developmental or civilized outlook to their life. You seriously think that by persecuting your own people that they're going to love you and make you vice president? The same vice president they have promised Wike that he will be the running mate to Tambuwal. We know all this nonsense. We know all these things. This is the thing about us. We are never consistent. I said it from the beginning of this very movement. We lack discipline and application. Discipline and application. Any day we remain disciplined, any day we apply that very thing that we preach, every day consistently, you will see that our lives will change. People come out in the open and they say things so that the public will love them. They go behind the back and they do something completely different and the opposite of that. People are, all of these governors, they understand the mess we are in as a people. They know it. The Yorubas have realized they have come together, not minding the terrorist attack that happened last week, which I will also delve into in a short while. But I want to deal with this issue of Ifeanyi Okowa and what's happening in Delta State. The Nigerian police are perambulating, patrolling, arresting young men in Delta and killing them. They arrest and they kill. Now the world will not see it. Any day I come on air to tell them that we are going to retaliate, they start writing to every embassy in the world, saying this is what Nnamdi Kanu said. Now they are abducting people and killing them. Nobody's talking, they've all gone mute. Now that Fulani people are making Mieti Allah with their terrorist squads are in our land, killing and maiming. All you do is you come to things are bad. Something must be done about Nigeria. But the people defending you, which is IPOB, inside Delta State itself, the same way we fought in Anambra, the same way we fought in Ebonyi, and still fighting in Ebonyi till tomorrow morning. What you did was to organize with the people that are persecuting your people, with the masters of the terrorists, to come and arrest and kill your own brothers in Delta State. And you say you're a politician. This nonsense you're doing, Ifeanyi Okowa, those before you tried it. And they came out abject failure, all of them. Jim Wobo served enough. Zeke brought him up, or he served enough after he left as the governor of Anambra State. They took his Savannah Bank. Some of you don't learn. You don't know anything because you're incapable of reasoning. You are also foolish. I don't know why, because you occupy a government house. Somehow you think they will love you. If you betray your people, they will love you. You are mad. They go behind your back, all of you, and they'll be laughing at all of you. Some of you think you're smart. As a governor, you sit in governor's lodge for 8 years, stealing, accumulating funds for yourself and your family. One day you will answer for it. The commissioner of police, I want his name to be put everywhere. The police commissioner, I want his pictures everywhere. That is the man that is killing our people. I want the DSS director in Delta State. I need his pictures everywhere. I want his family address to be made known to all of us. I want where the man visits and his family to be made known to the whole world tonight, not tomorrow morning. It is an order immediately. I want to see the face of the Alamajiri police commissioner in Delta State. I want to see the face of the DSS director in Delta State, and also add the picture of Okowa, that the world may know those killing innocent Biafrans in Delta because we said no to Fulani terrorism in our land. The same people come out, they complain, oh, we are dying, they are killing our women, we can no longer go to the farm, and IPOB is doing, the only people doing something about it. Is it because we don't come on air every day to tell you what we've done, or what we're about to do? All of you are there and are keeping quiet. So if IPOB were to stop now, you still come online and say, what is IPOB doing in Delta? Now we are doing something. Okowa is sending Fulani terrorists in uniform to come and kill IPOB family members in Asaba, especially. They want to take it over. Some of you don't know. Go to Asaba after Head Bridge. If you pass on the child, after Head Bridge, cross the bridge and come on. Is Alamajiri on the right and on the left, selling yam and plantain. Some of you are so blind you cannot see until what happened to you in Lagos happens. Then your eyes, even what happened to you, I'm not even sure you've learned anything from it. Some of that say a pipeline explosion. It was a coordinated terrorist attack with multiple bombs. Multiple gravity bombs, if you do not know. It is called a gravity bomb if you don't know. It can only be sourced by the army. Some of you do not know there was a Nigerian army that planted those bombs in Abulado to kill all of you. Because they know that Yoruba papers will not write about it. And the truth from, did Yoruba papers write about it? The answer is no. They won't write about it. They will not. Do you know why they didn't write about it? Because it wasn't Yorubas that were killed. Those killed are Biafrans, Igbo people especially. So who is going to defend you? You know, sometimes I can't understand why some people fail to reason. I don't know why they fail to reason. They are burning your everywhere is on fire. Every market is on fire. All over the zoo called Nigeria. The markets that you own, yet you don't want to reason. There is no sense of national urgency. That, let me tell you, thousands of people died. The reason why their corpses were not recovered is because of the magnitude and the blast impact of the bomb that was used. It's called a gravity bomb. Go and research it very well. That's what they used. They vaporized human beings in our blood. Vaporization. Where somebody was sitting before the bomb went off, if you go there, you cannot see anything anymore. From the same Nigerian army. Some of you don't know what the Fulanis have planned for you. Some of you, in your stupidity and your blindness, you continue to do the same thing over and over again, and they keep killing you because they know that we are so stupid. So, not all of us, of course, not IPOB. Heaven forbid. Those of you being killed. Very, very foolish. I will play a clip for you in a short while. I made that video or that clip in Italy. In Venice, very close to Padova. I read Merchant of Venice as a class 3 student when I was at Government College, Omoy. Merchant of Venice. Most of my peers read it with me then. It was a compulsory course, literature in English literature. I went to the house. I don't know that the book was actually modeled on a real life figure. I went to the man's house, Shylock, in Venice, a very wealthy man. Do you know the funniest thing? He was Jewish. A Jewish man, very wealthy. And he lost everything. I made that very clip, and I'll play it for you in a very short while. And I said it, I made this clip in the year 2013, or something, either 2012 or 2013, I can't remember anymore. I was touring Europe. I went to Italy. I was hosted very well by Michael Irania, a very good man. IPOB national coordinator then. He didn't want me to leave Italy. But I stayed with them for nearly 2 weeks in Italy, touring everywhere and preaching this very gospel. They took me to that very place. Unbelievable. I said that all of you building your houses in Lagos, in Kanu, and in Kaduna, and in Abuja, that you're all very... I said it in that... I'll play it in a short while. And today it's exactly what I said. Many, many, many years ago. 2013 or 2012, I can't be quite specific. I don't know. It's been a long time ago. The same thing as is happening now. Everything I have told you always come to pass. That is how you know people that are operating under the mandate of heaven and those who are operating under the mandate of a native doctor somewhere in a remote forest in West Africa. That's how you know. Everything I say, I said everything. I'll play for you in a short while. But we are bringing to the knowledge of the world what Ifeanyi Okowa, the governor of Delta State, is doing with his terrorist friends, Alamajiri, the Janjaweed, who are in police and in DSS. They have come to take over our land. We are under pressure on 4 fronts. In case you don't know, all what I call the old border towns are in serious danger of collapsing to Fulani hegemony. Ebonyi is under pressure. Anambra is constantly under pressure. Enugu is under pressure. And so is Delta. And do you know why they're all under pressure? All these states I have mentioned, they have Miyetti Allah as part of the government. I know some of you are shocked, but it's true. The same Miyetti Allah responsible for killing us in Nimbo, Ozo 1, everything that is happening in Izi, everything that is now happening in Delta, what happened in Anambra West, everything. The same people that come, destroy crops in the farm, rape our mothers, kill us, the same people, your so-called governors, I assimilated them into their governance structure. Sometimes they say truth is stranger than fiction. This is what is happening in our land. Right now, as I preach this very gospel to you this evening. They have gone to Lagos in a place called Abulado. They have killed our people. Look at the level of devastation. Devastation that they wrought on our people. Some people can no longer mourn because you don't know who died and who survived. A lot of the people basically vanished. It's called vaporization. They were vaporized because this is a very powerful bomb. They used 4 bombs. 4 gravity bombs. 4. They go and they say, give us military weapons. We want to fight Boko Haram. The same Nigerian army is planting all these weapons in predominantly Biafran areas to depopulate, to kill, and to take over our land, our properties, and our businesses. That's what is happening. As it happened to the Jews, as I told you in 2013. So it's happening to us today. And why is it happening? Because some of you do not. That these people, these bastards born by Fulani fathers during and after the war, it's them. Born of wayward mothers, it's them. Look at the way we are being killed. Look at how we are being slaughtered all over the place. Even our own land is under pressure. Only IPOB is holding the fort. Without IPOB, by now, there will be no Biafra. No Southeast, no South-South. All the nonsense you're talking will be gone. You will become another Ilorin. Look at the way that the people, the Yoruba Muslims from Ilorin, they are the worst breed of Yoruba people. The worst, the very worst. I tell you the truth. I don't mince words. I speak the truth. Go and research. You know, the Akintolas of this world. Go and do your research. Go back to history. You will confirm that whatever I'm telling you is the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Complete truth. I'm not diluting anything. What they have succeeded in doing is making some of you to reason like Yorubas in Ilorin. That's what they have done. The more they conquer you, the more you love them. The more they conquer you, the more you love them. That is the level of stupidity in some of us, especially those in Lagos, in Abuja, and in Kaduna, and in Kanu. It's happened. I warned you, and worse, write it down. Worse is coming. They use what they call shock inoculation. That is what the British advised the Fulanis to use. And that's what they're using, and it's working perfectly for them. Once they commit a heinous crime, an abominable crime, the outrage and the revulsion will be so high. You know what they do? They now reduce their hand a little bit. And their subsequent atrocities won't be as dreadful in magnitude as the first one. So you will say, oh, at least it wasn't as bad as the first one. And they take your lives over. That is what is happening. That is what is happening. Our intelligence is correct. Everything we tell you is correct. Everything I sit here to preach to you, wherever I am in the world, anything I tell you comes to pass. Exactly like that. Let us not waste time and go to that same clip I made many years ago, please. I want it posted everywhere. The clip I made many years ago about what is happening to you today in Lagos. I'm not from back. I don't go to and meet Fulani people at night. They give me money. I talk rubbish. I come and say, oh, is a prophecy rubbish. I have evidence. I don't believe in what I said. And I said no. You will see it with the two eyes. Evidence, very clear, incontrovertible. Somebody kindly, IPOB, we are too formidable. Somebody dug up this very video. I never even knew it still existed. I will play it for you. The voice is slightly dim sometimes, but I will try and play it for you. I'm sure you make sense of it. I'll play it for you. It's the home of the Shylock, the merchant of Venice, who was a Jewish man. This is an object lesson to the Igbo fools and idiots who are building their palaces in Kanu, in Maiduguri, in Lagos, in Abuja, that this building here was built by a Hebrew, a Jewish man, Shylock, of the Shakespeare fame, Merchant of Venice. This is his home. We are here in Padova. I'm Nnamdi Kanu, of course, and these are our people that brought me to this place. We came, Radio Biafra is in, we are here in Italy, Turin, Italy. And over there, all the houses you can see were built by Jews. Here, if you go there today, you will see no Jewish person there. It's all been taken from them. This is the home of the man that there was so much jealousy against this man in Europe that they decided to write. Shakespeare himself wrote The Merchant of Venice. If you look here, that is the canal. Right across where the cyclist is going is the canal that used to bring in his wares, his merchandise, all the way from the city of Venice that is just down the road from there. So what we're going to do is to attempt to go in. We are going to remind our people that it's necessary for our people to be prudent with their sense. I recorded this many years ago. 2012 or 2013, somebody should please correct me. I want our people to be prudent. You know what they said is hate speech. He doesn't know what he's saying. He wants to divide Nigeria. Go and say that to the children that will not get a befitting burial. My parents died, and at least I buried them. I was able to mourn them and bury them. There are people that died in Ablado that nobody even knows if they were there when the bombs went off or not. They cannot be seen. They've been literally wiped. Ask yourself, how many bodies were recovered from those homes and those schools? Ask yourself this question. To tell you the power of the bomb that they detonated at that very place. How many bodies were recovered? You can see people crying and say, Chinedu was there. I saw Chinedu and the mother and the father, they were there. But nobody can see them again. It's called vaporization. Because the blast was so huge that it tore the flesh into pieces and scattered it everywhere. Blown away to thy kingdom come. I warned them. I warned them. I warned them in 2012, 2013. I've been warning them. This is going to happen. I am very precise. I tell you what is going. I will tell you exactly what is going to happen. I don't believe in using, general language, or generalizing my predictions. I tell you what is going to happen with every clarity and certainty. I tell you what is going to befall you. The same way that I say to people of Delta States today, if you allow Okowa to continue the persecution of IPOB, I will give the order for IPOB not to defend Delta State anymore, and I give you only 6 months and Delta State will fall into the hands of the Almajiri. It doesn't matter who you, if you like, you try me. I am telling you, if Okowa does not stop his cooperation with Miyetti Allah and the Fulani terrorists in uniform in his state, I will give the order that IPOB should stop defending Delta and Delta will fall within 6 months. And then you turn around and say, but IPOB was there. You've been saying you protect us. But now that a so-called Igbo man, Ifeanyi Okowa, is there, bringing his friends, all these perpetrators of iniquity, into Delta, you won't say anything. The same way that I warned you. I warned you many years ago that your lives, all of you building and constructing in Lagos, that you are foolish. I did not just say it that you are foolish. I said they will take it from you. And you know what they have done? The army have said, Nigerian army and Nigerian government, including the Ilorin, the Yoruba Muslim man in, I think he's the governor of Lagos State. You know what they said? After they killed people, slaughtered children, you know what they said? Federal government of Nigeria is now acquiring Abulado as a federal government property. Can you believe that? The same thing that I told you will happen in 2013. The same thing I told you would happen to you in 2013 is now happening before your eyes. So you can see it. I have the video to prove it. I have the video. I was actually looking a lot more handsome then, and my beard wasn't very gray, and my hair wasn't receding as fast as it. Too much stress. I'm trying to thinking of Biafra every blessed day is a very stressful thing to do. Honestly speaking, thinking of ways to make sure that Biafra is restored as quickly as possible. I was relatively young compared to now. Go and look at it. I have the video. It's not somebody saying, I said it. No, I have the video to prove it. I told you it was going to happen. And it has happened. Has it not happened? It has happened. Now, let me also let the world understand what is happening in this same place. And I can put that very video on my wall. And everywhere. I want it everywhere. There are 2 videos showing you the level of devastation. The level of devastation to tell you that the Fulani terrorists are heartless. Them in the army, the police, the DSS, they are all the same terror gang. The same. And let me warn Yorubas. You may think that's stupid Yoruba girl that used to work for Star Reporters. I don't know what her name is. Saying that Jubril is not Buhari. I'm looking at her. And now she doesn't talk very much anymore. Maybe she's from Ilorin as well. The same thing will happen to you. Yoruba, write it down. As your media is keeping quiet. Of course, I exempt Punch newspaper and AIT to an extent. As they are keeping quiet. Thinking, they're killing Igbos in Abulado. We will get our land back. They bought it from us. After so foolishly, they bought it from us. We're going to take it back in connivance with the federal government. Awolowo connived with Gowon. Yoruba, what did you achieve? After all the conniving, Awolowo was the only civilian vice president to a military head of state in the history of Africa. Then, they promised him everything they're promising Okowa today. We will make you this. We will make you that. After go on, Awolowo is you. The same trick they played on Awolowo, they played on Azikiwe, they're still playing on all of you till today. But you cannot see it. Once in a while, they will bring out somebody like Obasanjo, give him the presidency, accidentally, somebody like Jonathan. They'll say, oh, don't worry, don't listen to Nnamdi Kanu. Can't you see Obasanjo and Jonathan? We allowed them to be there. Do you think that Fulanis are stupid? They know that once the presidency leaves them, things cannot be the same anymore. They know that very well. The same trick they played on Awolowo, they played on Azikiwe. All of you are falling for it like idiots that you are. But not IPOB, thankfully. Not IPOB. Let me show the world, or should I say, play for you what transpired. And you will see the level of devastation. It's pipeline. Can you imagine a journalist that will go to maybe Winners Chapel or go to any of those Pentecostal churches and say they're praying to Jesus Christ? And you come out and you see the truth and you cannot write the truth. You say, which pipeline can cause such devastation? Which pipeline? Even the pipeline in Russia, the biggest gas pipeline, cannot cause such a huge area or leave a huge area desolate. Go and look at it. Let me play for you. I think this was from Guardian newspaper. None of them said is an Igbo area. That Igbos are being killed. No, of course not. Something happened to the Jews in Europe. When Hitler was killing them, they said, oh, no, leave it. It's people that live in that part of Warsaw. Like, oh, no, it's not. They're not targeting the Jews. Until 6 million were killed. Then their eyes opened. The funniest thing is that they have killed 5 million of us before. We did nothing. We went back to the same Abuja, the same Meduguri, the same Kaduna, the same Lagos. The same thing is happening now. I am not saying that Yorubas and Biafra should not cooperate. That's not what I'm saying. But everything must be based on transparency and truth. Honesty. Honesty is the foundation of such a relationship. Now understand this very clearly. Very, very clearly. Our lives are in danger. They are using the cover of coronavirus to commit unspeakable atrocities on the ground. As they are advancing, day and night they are advancing. Every blessed day they are advancing. Nigerian army is working for them. These terrorists, no, they are all in the same camp. They planned it very well. Nigerian army, Nigerian police, DSS, everybody is working towards this one Fulanization agenda. By the time you realize it is too late. Because they are buoyed up by what happened in Ilorin and to an extent in Ebonyi. That if you conquer them well enough, they will support you. You know that Stockholm syndrome. The love you have for somebody who is persecuting you. That's what they're counting on. But at least maybe they never counted on IPOB coming or our resoluteness. Let me play for you what is happening in Lagos, where they kill our people. Victims count losses. Destruction. Wholesale destruction.
I was in front of my compound where the kids are inside the house. So immediately I heard a shout outside. My son said he's going to church and the little one said he's not going. So I was like, okay, you go while the little one stay with me at home. Then we'll go for the next mass. The only thing I could see was a hard noise from outside. People were shouting, help, help, help. It was not up to 20 seconds. There was a heavy explosion. So when I went to...
Can you hear that? Everything I tell you is correct. There was an explosion, the first one. People were screaming, help, 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 help. That's what they do. They now detonated another one. People don't reason. They don't think. People know this UG black people, black. God, why can't black people reason? This is what a journalist that claims he or she is God-fearing will sit down and write and say, it's a gas line. It's a gas that the gas exploded and other cylinders in people's houses started exploding. There was no emergency debate in their useless Senate. Nobody discussed it because the papers never wrote about it. Everybody went to sleep and it's gone. People are dead. Children are missing. They will never be buried. Never. Let's continue listening to the lady narrating her ordeal. So there are people. Can some people actually learn? Sometimes I wonder, can they really seriously learn? Let's listen.
people, I was asking, the whole building collapsed on my children. So I called people to come and help me bring out the blocks so that I could bring them out. Immediately I came outside, I saw heavy smoke upstairs. The smoke was much. Rushing inside, the building were collapsing in heavy form. I was, there is no way out. So next thing we saw was fire all over. We could not bring anything out. When I was looking front and right there, I saw a car going up in flames. So I was like, there are people inside this car. I never knew it was Lynn Dave's school, the private school. The son that came from America, that wants to get married, the man and the son and the wife, all of them got born inside the car. The whole building collapsed. So I called people to help me out, and they bring out our things. They bring out my children, so we now run away. Getting to the other point there, we saw the children. Some, their head is off, while some, they cut off their 2 hands and leg. All the children in Bethlehem College, they were badly injured. Some reverend sisters were involved, they lost their lives. Many people lost their life in the incident. So we just find our way at the back of that plaza. That's where we escaped yesterday.
That is how they massacre you, because when they come to your villages and kill IPOB, you keep quiet. When they persecute those who are fighting for your survival, you keep quiet. That's why they did this to you. And they will continue. Do you think they're going to stop? How many years ago did they attack the Catholic Church in Madala? Have they stopped? After all the outcry and all the nonsensical noise and crocodile tears of your governors and your politicians, those you call your leaders, what happened? The Fulani terrorists intensified their slaughter. They intensified it because they will never stop. Do you think they're going to stop? You're insane. They will never ever stop. They will keep hunting you down and killing you every blessed day. The more they kill you, the less they report it, until they will stop reporting it. That was the trick that Britain taught them. Britain told them that the only way to do this is to deny them the oxygen of letting the world know what you're doing. And luckily for the Fulani people, all the media in Nigeria are concentrated in the hands of the Yoruba. And most of them are Yoruba Muslim. That is the problem you have in Nigeria. When the unfortunate incident of the death of the daughter of Fasoranti happened, it was everywhere. Every Yoruba paper carried it, front page news. Everybody, there was widespread condemnation. But I'm asking you to go and look at their coverage of what happened at Abulado, where thousands perished. I said thousands perished. Their livelihoods gone. No, I'm building a house in Lagos. I'm living at Ojuelegba. I'm living at Okokomaiko. More is coming. Oh. More is coming. The reason why people, maybe sometimes I can understand the apathy of some people, is that our people don't listen. They don't listen. Sometimes we reason as if we are not normal. Look at what is happening in Delta State. Can you believe such nonsense? Are you telling me that a governor in the north, let's say Adamawa or Borno governor, or maybe Katsina, or maybe Nasarawa, that people will come from that Biafran terrorists will come from Biafra land and go to Nasarawa and be killing people? And then the Nasarawa governor will come out and say, okay, where are those resisting these terrorists? Let's go and kill them. That is what your governors are doing. They are there making stupid speeches from their offices, swinging around, saying things that they feel sometimes you want to hear. Swinging around. Oh, we are going to form security outfit in November of 1592. We are going to form one. Oh, don't worry, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Some of you idiots. Oh, he has spoken. Oh, did you hear him? What the governor said? His Excellency. Whilst his Fulani comrades are slaughtering you. May the good Lord have mercy upon your soul. It's not finished. There's another clip as well I want to play. I'm sure most of you may have seen it, but it is good to remind all of you the level of stupidity we are swimming through right now. Because of those, I told you, so all of your so-called, of course, with the exception of Abari, they were brought out by their Fulani godfathers. All of them, they have Fulani god, all of them. All of them. I don't know that, perhaps they, I don't know what it is. Is it, maybe it's Indomie. I suspect Indomie. Indomie, there's something wrong with Indomie. The same way that I suspect fluoride. You know, fluoride toothpaste. You know, they said that what is happening in the Western world in the 60s and 70s wouldn't have happened. There will be so much moral indignation by the people that there will be an uprising. But you know what fluoride does? You don't know what fluoride does. And even in the UK, they put fluoride in water, in drinking water. They say it's to make the teeth very strong. But of course not. Fluoride makes you very docile. Makes you very weak. You are no longer critical. You cannot rise up anymore to fight for what you believe is right. There is another clip. Lamentation everywhere in Lagos. But I warned you in 2013, you will lament, but nobody will come to your rescue. I said no. And the government is going to take the land from them. And the people are saying, one Nigeria. We're in Nigeria. Let's move Nigeria forward. Let's move Nigeria sideways. Let's move Nigeria a bit to the left. Let's move it a bit to the right. Let's move it up a bit. They are killing you. As somebody is telling you, that's something that is killing you. Let's move it forward. Somebody, unbelievable. Let's play another one so the world can hear and know that our position is always vindicated. You know, they say that history will always vindicate the just. When I was saying this thing in 2013, I'm sure some people thought I was a madman, that I would never be vindicated. But today I have roundly vindicated. Roundly. Anybody doubting anything I say is a lunatic. If you doubt anything I say, anybody, forget about Upper Benue Congress, forget about those idiots. Anything I tell you, ask them, has anybody been so accurate with their prediction before? In the whole of Africa, if you show me anybody whose predictions are as accurate and verifiable as mine, I will stop what I'm doing. I will stop it. Show me there is no human being alive that hasn't been born. Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Heaven will tell you and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening. If there is anybody who is as accurate as I have been with my predictions, bring out the person. I will stop. I will resign as IPOB leader. No human being. The whole world, no human being. There is no single soul, no human being in Africa, in the zoo called Nigeria, anywhere can match the degree of accuracy of our prediction. No human being can. What I told you, I exactly what I told you in 2013 is now happening. Let's listen here. Pure attack on Igbos, he's saying.
Yes. And this is the first sample. And another one is coming. I'm telling an average Igbo man, open your eyes, advise your if you keep on waiting, the next one might be deadly more than this. They might be telling you that it's earthquake. Yes. Because they know how to camouflage. Only God knows that Nigeria is not one. Being a Nigeria is a problem. Let's now sit and talk. But we should start that talk from myself. I'm going to advise our people. Stop investing in West. Finish. Stop investing in North. I can invest in South. He's coming and attack me. Then we cannot fight. But here, look at damages. Costs are still inside there. Go and check. Look at. Government doing anything.
Corpses are still inside the buildings.
Go back.
Did you hear what he said? He said he's now advising himself. No more building in Lagos, in the west and the north. I told our people that Jews tried the same nonsense you're doing. Their friends, Igbos especially, Jews did the same rubbish. You see, all this nonsense. Oh, we are prime minister. Oh, we are going to be the premier of Austria. We are going to be the prime minister of Norway. The same nonsense you're doing, it didn't start today. You know, history has a very funny way of repeating itself. I remember one wise man founded the Zionist movement, traveled to Austria and spoke to a very prominent Jewish man. He said to him, I am the prime minister of Austria now. People are climbing the same rubbish you hear from these morons all over the zoo. The man lost his life in Auschwitz along with his family. He was gassed to death. We are hated the same way the Jews are hated for no reason. We are blessed because of the blessing God gave to us. That is why they hate us. Some of you claim, I'm a Christian, I'm a this, I'm a that. You don't read the scriptures. You don't read. The reason why his brothers hated him, Joseph, was because his father loved him. That is the only reason for the hatred. The reason why some people say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu did this, now they can stop him, is because they know that I love Biafrans and they love me. That's all. Not because I don't know who they are. Once you're loved by a superior power, those around you will hate you. Even in families, it happens. Once your mom is favorite or dad is favorite, that's the way people look at you. That's the way it is. We are the favorite of God. We have messed up, that is true. We are useless sometimes, that is true. But we remain his favorites. That is why they will always hate us. There is no place like home. No place in the... Today, are they killing Jews anymore? Do you kill Israelis anymore? I'm asking you. If you kill Israelis somewhere, Mossad will go the next day and kill your entire family. So you will stop. But now they're killing us. The same thing I said in 2013 is what a trader is now saying in Lagos. That there are corpses in the house. Oh, Zunde Mado. Dead bodies, they cannot move them. And instead of the zoo government that they claim that they are serving to come and be sympathetic to them, what Nigeria said was, we will take over this land from you. I don't mind that you're grieving or you're burying people or you can't even find them, but we are going to take the land. And nobody commented. That useless station called Channels, nobody. Some people are evil. Some people are evil. I said this. God looked at the heart of a black man and said, no, these people, there's something wrong with them. Instead, he blessed other people, Caucasians, the Anatolians, the Asians. So there's something wrong with this. Their heart is as black as charcoal. I ask myself, is there any reason why Yoruba papers will not carry the truth about what happened in Ablado? Why wouldn't they write the truth? People are dying. They said there are children still inside some of the buildings, dead bodies still there. And what the government wants is let us go and take over the land from them. Very, very sad indeed. We must continue. All the leaders you have in Biafra land, by which I mean Southeast and South, because some newspapers are very good at misquoting me. I issued a statement on coronavirus earlier this evening. And instead of writing exactly what I said, they have now said, Nnamdi Kanu give advice to Ndibo, to Southeast. No, I was talking about all Biafrans. Idoma, Igede, Efiki, Bibio, Izon, our people in Ebanke, Urobo, Isoko, Ishekiri. These are the people I'm talking about, not just, I didn't say Igbo, but they keep twisting it. Something is wrong. They keep twisting. They must twist it. Have you ever heard about Fulani people shouting Fulani, Fulani before? They always said enough. Why can't people learn? What is wrong with your brain? The Fulani speak Hausa language, they don't complain. They don't complain. They're in charge of everywhere. They don't complain. You have Hausa, you have Nupe, you have Kanuri, you have Bachama, you have Wagi, you have all people in the north under one Fulani hegemony. How can Fulani come out and say, oh, we are fighting for Fulani? They are fighting for the whole north because all their interests are linked. Why is it in the south we fall for this nonsense over and over again, this dichotomy? That was what finished us in the south. That was what finished the east. Once they cut you out and say, you are south, you are south, you are south, and God knows what else, they can come in, they can kill you. If you want to participate, if you want to join your people to repel the invaders, they say, no, but you're not part of us. You are from southeast. The statement I made was for all Biafrans all over the world. All Biafrans. All IPOB all over the world. Excuse me. All IPOB all over the world. I don't know why we never learn. I don't know when we are going to learn. The international community must hold Nigerian government to account for the genocide going on in Delta State and across the entire South, but the East especially. They have refused. The so-called governors and politicians, they are interested in their families and what they can get from governance, not what they can do for you. It is only IPOB that can save you. No order, no order. I keep saying no order. Our message to these terrorists and their sponsors remains the same. That we shall continue to resist them, as we are doing in Delta State. Any day, if I will give Delta people, our traditional rulers and our elders in Delta, the opinion leaders in Delta, to give Okowa 14 days to apologize to IPOB publicly. If he doesn't do it, I will withdraw IPOB volunteer command from Delta, and you will see what Fulani will do to you in Delta State. Then your eyes will clear. Remember that everything I've said to you before has come to pass. Remember that very well. Not tomorrow you'll be shouting, oh, but when is IPOB? Nothing is happening. They're not doing anything. I am warning you now. Okowa must apologize. He must apologize for what he is doing. The zoo is bad. I have left because what I'm going to do is there was something that I came across on Nnamdi said. I've read it over 100 times. I couldn't believe it. Over 100 times. I've seen it, but I can't believe it. But I'm going to read it for you tonight so you will understand what is happening. Somebody called Okon said there is no compulsion to remain united without restructuring. He is an elder statesman. He's a former senator. Aniyetie Okon. He served in the Senate between 1999 and 2003. He served within this period, and very sadly, he was the publicity secretary for PDP for a while. He spoke on the state of the zoo called Nigeria. He is from what they call South-South, the people that go on created and said, you are rivers and you are cross river, you are South-South. You are not related to the Igbos, you have nothing to do with them. And some of them foolishly, I say it all, foolishly and hopelessly agreed. After the war, they gave houses belonging to Igbo people in Iguacha that they call Port Harcourt to some Ikwere families. But there was no abandoned property in the north. The reason why they did it was to divide us even more. So that an Ikwere man, in order to keep a property that is not his, will say, oh, I'm not Igbo. Do you understand the trick? It's a very simple game. It's divide and rule. It's very neat and very simple. Just like when the white man came, he will go to a village and he will pick somebody and say, you are the warrant chief of this village. Forgetting all the traditional precedents and how traditional rulers are appointed. That's what happened. They will come and they will say to you, oh, I'm not Igbo. The reason why an Ikwere man will say I'm not Igbo is because the property he's living in does not belong to him. Because if he says it's Igbo, that means that it's an abomination to take over your brother's landed property. It's an abomination in Igbo culture. In order to justify that the money that you went to school with, you were trained with money gotten from a stolen property. You say, oh, we are from Benin. You know, if you come from Benin, there will be no, you won't have conscience. That's why all that nonsense. We are from Akaraka in Benin. All that rubbish. Crazy Igbo land. We know the history. If they want to teach them the history. We are all one people. And of course, as soon as Biafra comes, we will be able to do things differently. We will be able to do things properly the way it ought to be. We will be able to do things differently. We will be able to do things the way it should be done. The way it should be done. I have been sent something today, right now, that it is finally open that Jubril is not Buhari. We'll get to that later. I have a section of that coming up. They have now admitted it, that Jubril is not Buhari. You know, I'm never wrong. I am not wrong. Some people will say, oh, but he should be a bit modest and admit that he's wrong. So I am not wrong. Before I come on air, I pray. I pray 7 times every day. Are you aware of that? 7 times a day. I pray 7 times a day. I am under divine mandate. Everything I tell you is the truth. Garuba Shehu have actually admitted under, I think is, I won't call it cross-examination, that Jubril is not Buhari. It's very clear and neat and clean. The whole world has seen. And I thank Simon Ekpa for actually bringing it up. I think Simon Ekpa does this very brilliant video analysis, which I think is a new genre, so to speak, in this propagation. I think he's doing a very good job, and may he continue and let the demon not go into him. He should remain focused, applied, and disciplined. You know, our problem is lack of application and discipline. Once you're disciplined and you apply yourself dutifully and diligently, the end result is always assured, is victory. Now they have admitted that that Jubril is different from Buhari. They've admitted it. That's what they're saying. But we'll continue. Somebody from the south is now saying that, oh, give us restructuring, or there's no compulsion for a nation to work. But one Fulani was using you did not know. When they come to give you pipeline security, hey, can you please guide this pipe from LLM to Obibo? I'll give you money. You never ask yourself, but who is actually benefiting from the oil wells? They're all from the north. All you do is security guard. And when I tell you, oh, come, my brother, let us repel these infidels. You say, oh no, I'm not a Biafra. Oh, I'm not this thing. I'm from Bini. I'm from Akaraka. From Bini. Your name is Chibika Meji. You say you're from Bini, from Akaraka, from Bini. Stupidity is a disease. I will never get tired of saying this. Ken Sarawiwa was at my alma mater, Government College Omwaya. Of course, the finest British-run boarding school you had in the entire East. Of course, Azikiwe said that. I'll refer to that later on. He went there on scholarship. Ken Sarawiwa, respected and loved at Government College Omwaya. Any Omwayan will tell you about Erekosima House. Erekosima. He was a principal. Government College Omwaya. A Joe, a Rekosima. Go and ask. Oh dear me, these people just came into us and divided us so much. They want to bring that nonsense before. I'm Anambra and your Imo. IPOB came and destroyed all that rubbish. Do you hear that nonsense again? Oh, you're from Enugu. Oh, you're from Ebonyi. I'm from. Do you hear that rubbish in IPOB? We are one family. One family. In Cross River, they have a fraternity, a cult. We have where we come from. Everybody is the same. The same the same Akwamiri we wear, the same thing that Akpabio wears, that Tuto Emmanuel is wearing, something that I wear. The same thing, the same cap. You know that our woolly hat, Webru. The same Okonko they have in Anang is in my village, Okonko. The same Okonko is in my village. The same fraternity. The same AO that you have in Ekom, in Oron, it's the same AO you have in my village. And you left all of your people and you say, yo, a Fulani man from Mali is better. Is my brother. Lord have mercy upon some of you. Lord have mercy upon some of you. They have admitted that Jubril is not the same as Buhari. Of course, as I know they would, over time, of course they're going to admit it. Why wouldn't they admit it? Why would they not admit it? Because here we preach the truth. Everything I tell you is correct. They are borrowing money. They have left you out of it. They are bombing you, killing you in Lagos. The money from the so-called Nigeria you're not getting. Whereas the oil comes from your land, the gas comes from your land, the Fulani contributes nothing to the economy. I have asked somebody several times, what is the contribution of Bauchi State to the coffers of Nigerian economy? The answer is zero, nothing. They say they grow yam and they grow onions and they grow tomatoes. All that has been blown aside. It's something that we grow in Nsukka. So what do you contribute? Nothing. You take the oil from my land, the gas from my land, you go and borrow money to mortgage the future of children based on the produce coming from the land of Biafra, and yet the Biafrans are excluded from it. And some, but they gave some to South, as if you have not. When you go to school to study the history of colonialism in those days, when they taught history in schools, the first thing you learn is the British divide and rule. That's how they work. Divide and rule. What is happening in Hong Kong and China, in Pakistan, in India, in Bangladesh, in Kashmir, divide and rule. Why can't you people reason? You can't think for yourselves. They have run the zoo to the ground. Fulani have destroyed Nigerian economy to the extent that the Senate president, one man called Lawan, this is according to their news, helped Nigeria out of poverty. So you can't help yourself out of poverty. But you say you're matured, you're grown up, you can stay on your own. Why don't you ask Britain to come and colonize you again? Help Nigeria out of poverty. Senate president begs World Bank. People without shame, no honor, no dignity, no pride, nothing. People without honor. People without honor. That's what's happening to them. People without honor. That is what is happening to them. The zoo itself. And they want to compete with IPOB when they know they can never ever compete. I wrote and I said to Jubril, come out and address the people. Every day Trump will come out. Every head of state, even those without any recorded case of coronavirus, they will come out in public. Every day. They will dress down. Every president in Africa, they will dress down. They will answer questions from journalists. This one never says anything. Even ordinary greeting. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, is written for him. Ordinary ladies and gentlemen, he has to look in the book to read it out. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, he's reading it because it's Jubril, it's not Buhari. Everybody knows that. You can't recover from a brain tumor. Everybody knows that. You cannot recover from an illness and you claim you've forgotten your mother tongue. After all, the English that you're speaking, you never knew how to speak English before. So how come all of a sudden you did not forget English language is your mother tongue fufu that you forgot? I shall have told you severally that this man is not Buhari. But you don't want to listen, do you? None of you wants to listen. And now it is very clear. Address the nation, they are begging him. The same Senate that is begging for money to save itself is begging. Please address the nation. Come and address the nation. He cannot address the nation because he is not Buhari. Common sense. He is now the same height as Garba. Today he's young, tomorrow he's looking like a 50-year-old. The other one is looking like a 14-year-old. Nobody knows who he is. And all of you are just taking in this scam. No wonder they say, oh, Biafra. Biafra is a scam because they are covering they're covering scam. So by focusing attention on IPOB, they fully, all the Fulanis need to count upon is the envy and hatred of some Yorubas against Igbos. Naturally, that's all. That's how they survive. Because sometimes I seriously don't think that some Yoruba journalists are objective. Some of them are not. The objective ones you know. Some are not. And that is why cooperation between the East and the West is always difficult. Very, very difficult. Because they cannot, some of them cannot throw away that, toga of envy, if I can put it that way. I tell you the truth. I don't lie. I don't sugarcoat anything. I speak the truth. I tell you what is going to happen before. I tell you the fact. You may not like it, but upon reflection in the quiet of your room, you will come to consider what I'm saying is correct. There should be cooperation between the East and the West. It's not happening. Why? Because segments of Yoruba journalism, they're just horrible people. Horrible. They know that in every other... Can you imagine if it is Jonathan? Jonathan saying, oh, I will not address the nation on Corona. Hey, Yoruba media will eat him alive. They will eat him raw alive. But because they have frightened all of you with terrorism, basically reduced you to nothing. That is why you can't speak. You know this group that Loretta Onoche runs on social media, they are attack squad. I think they're now dwindling in number anyway. What is him saying anything got to this? Is he going to stop the virus? Can you believe people? They don't know the meaning of leadership. They don't know the meaning of democracy. They don't know what is called accountability. Because the only thing they know to do is to move cattle from place to place. They know nothing. That is not, I keep saying it. They say, oh, you're being this, you're being racist. I am not being racist. I'm not degrading anybody. I'm telling you the pure fact of life. A democratically elected president cannot address the country in a time of pandemic. Pandemic. Oh. Then when are you going to address them? When will you address them? That is the meaning of democracy. Tell us what you're doing. You owe it to the people. If you claim you are Buhari, come out and speak. And take questions from journalists. They cannot do it. And you have Yoruba journalists. That stupid girl that used to work for Sarah Reporters. I've forgotten her name. That was defending Jubril. It has happened now. I've just been sent a clip now that Garba Shehu have finally admitted that Jubril is not Buhari. Now they know. Here we shred the zoo to pieces. So they are nothing. If people can actually forget, I said to Yoruba, forget your prejudice about IPOB, Nnamdi, Kanu, and the Biafra. Forget, put it to one side. Ask yourself, is what Nnamdi Kanu is saying, is it true? What IPOB is saying, is it correct? The agitation for Biafra, is it merited? You go to Lagos, you kill people. You come to Ebonyi, you kill people. You go to Anambra, you kill. You come to Delta, you kill. You're everywhere, slaughtering, burning people's houses and businesses, and you want the same people to stay in that country with you. Are you not mad? Are you not mad, I ask? Are you not mad? I ask. Coronavirus, you cannot address the people. I have addressed Biafrans all over the world. Let him come out and address people. Address them and take questions from journalists. He cannot do it. Because the person you're calling Buhari is not Buhari. He's a Sudanese. When will you people learn? When will you people ever learn to reason? When will you learn to reason? When will you learn to reason? We'll continue to do our work, which is to expose the damnable Zoological Republic. And who brought us into the mess that we're in today? People must be very patient with us this very evening. Very, very patient, please. I beg of you. Be very, very patient because we are coming. I said it's quite a lot this evening to cover. Maybe I need to do another broadcast within the middle of the week because things are happening. Things are happening. Things are happening. Listen very carefully. This speech was made in 1949 by Nnamdi Azikiwe. He called it an address to the Igbo people. That was where our problem started from. Our problem started from then. Instead of, does it mean that Nnamdi Azikiwe, a very learned man, very intelligent, does it mean he didn't actually read history to understand the interconnectedness, both cultural, linguistic, and social, between all the peoples of the East? Does it mean he didn't know that? He was dealing with people that referred, at no time did the Sadwana of Sokoto, Ahmadu Bello, ever say Fulani. At no time, people must listen very carefully to what I'm saying now. At no time did Tafawa Balewa ever say, we are fighting for Hausa people, Hausas, or Fulanis, no. Or Kanuris, or Nupes, no. They always said the North. They understood that Islam held them together. They always said the North. Now, my question is, why is it that Nnamdi Azikiwe kept saying Igbo? Why? I can't understand it. Forgetting the need to carry everybody along with you. The same way that Ahmadu Bello Fulani carried the whole of the North with him. You need to carry the whole of the East with you. He wanted to remove that Yoita. And then the Fulani quite simply said to the Efik and the Bibio people, can you see they removed their Iota? Because Igbos are domineering. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. They started to fabricate stories about the war. Igbo soldiers, Biafran soldiers came. There was no Biafran soldier. If not for IPOB, imagine what they could have fabricated now against us. Just because first of all, we had to go for media to counter all their nonsense. They went and because there was no radio, Ojukwu had no radio. He was only in a little car moving from village to village. No, Britain was sponsoring the propaganda of Nigeria against Biafra. Oh, there are Biafran soldiers in Oron. They have killed Nigerians from Cross River State. We hate Igbo. We hate Biafra. To the extent that somebody who answers Chibika Michi, just somebody who answers Ifeanyi Okowa is saying they are not Igbo. I can't understand. The mentality is driving me insane. I'm mad, honestly. That is the power of division using the media. That is why everybody must be on social media. You must be on Twitter. You must be on Facebook. You must be on Instagram. You must checkmate. They are evil. You must checkmate them. When we started, they said, oh, Anambra man cannot allow Imo man to emerge. Until I told them the history of who we are. Everybody's from Anambra. They called it from Biafra. We went to East Central State after the war. They gave it to Abiasika. The first major Sabo. Should I say second one after Ifajuna? After that, then we went from there to Imo and Anambra. From Imo and Anambra, we now have Abia and Ebonyi and Delta. And it was this man that divided us, what's it called, Gowon, that gave Cross River and River State. They asked him, why? Gowon is alive. Let any credible journalist go and ask him, why did you create Cross River and River State? He will tell it is to divide the Igbo people, to divide you. And you bought it. Like the fools that we are, we bought it. Your own brother in Ikwere, Asren Chinda, the same blood, the same flesh, the same blood, the same name, the same language. You say he's from Jukun, from Akraka, from Akaka. But I have forgiven everybody because we are one family. This family is one, indivisible. It doesn't matter what the media write. Nnamdi Kanu speaks to Ndibo. He speaks to Southeast, doing the best they can. These are Yoruba journalists and Igbo journalists doing the work of Fulani for them for free, dividing us. But Fulani come as one North. They come to say, you're Southeast, you're South, you're Southwest East, you're East West South. But then they come to you as one North, one monolith. You cannot reason. You went to school of journalism. You're writing rubbish. I was addressing Biafrans. This is what Zeke said in 1949. Please, with the time now standing at precisely 25 to 9, if I'm not mistaken, in Biafra land, and the same number of minutes to the top of the hour, wherever you are around the world. We are live and we are direct. This was given, an address given 11 years before Nigeria's independence. It is online, actually. People should look for it. It is titled 1949 Nnamdi Azikiwe, Address to Igbo People. Please look for it and post it everywhere. I want you to read it very carefully to tell you that we are always right. Always. Always right. I did not even have the benefit of this very brilliant piece before we started IPOB agitation for Biafra. But if they tell you what Zeke said here, you won't believe it. But we are going to tell you all the same what Nnamdi Azikiwe said. His name is Dr. Azikiwe. I don't want to put Nnamdi there because people call Nnamdi, they're always very sensible and reasonable. They don't sell out, they're not traitors. Listen to what Zeke said. He said this thing at the Igbo State Assembly. Igbo State had very powerful movement in those days. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Igbo Union. Very powerful, I'm telling you. They built National High School, very powerful people in those days. Let me read his speech so you understand it very well. From Nnamdi Azikiwe, you will not believe this. From Azikiwe. Listen. Harbingers of a new day for the Igbo nation. The only thing I disagree with him here is this Igbo nation thing. He should have said the East. He should have said Biafra. He was a student of history, he should have known. But let's leave that to the side and continue. He said, harbingers of a new day for the Igbo nation, having selected me to preside over the deliberations of this assembly of the Igbo nation, I am conscious of the fact that you have not done so because of any extraordinary attributes in me. I realize that I'm not the oldest amongst you, nor the wisest, nor the wealthiest, nor the most experienced, nor the most learned. I am therefore grateful to you for elevating me to this high pedestal. This is Azikiwe. I'm reading him verbatim, what he said in 1949. Listen carefully, please. The Igbo people have reached a crossroad, and it is for us to decide which is the right course to follow. We are confronted with routes leading us to diverse goals, but as I say it, there is only one road that I can safely recommend for us to tread, and it is the road of self-determination for the Igbo within the framework of a federated Commonwealth of Nigeria and the Cameroons, leading to United States of Africa. Other roads, in my opinion, are calculated to lead us astray from the path of national self-realization. Azikiwe said that the only path he sees for our people is self-determination in his speech in 1949. And funny enough, do you know what I find very astonishing about this very speech? Is that it is the same thing that IPOB is proposing. I am for one Africa. I am for one West Africa. But people must come together, having willingly given their consent. A white man cannot do that for me. Now you understand where we're coming from. So it bears a very uncanny resemblance, I should say, to the position of IPOB, which is quite bizarre. So what IPOB is doing today was what Nnamdi Azikiwe canvassed in 1949. Now, when we started this movement, I said that the problem of a black man is discipline and application. But along the line, he fell off. I want to know where Nnamdi Azikiwe fell off. I must read this speech, all of it, so that you will hear that Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1949 was talking about self-determination, that our brother, that his business and family was killed in Ablado, was saying the same thing. The same thing that Onyeko Nwanu said a few weeks back. The same thing. Self-determination. Even Nnamdi Azikiwe that had it within his powers to insist on this. What happened? Oh, it was that time he married, I think he married a Hausa woman. They gave him Fulani woman. He married and named his child Mohammed. That's why they got him. I must read this for you. I must. The Igbo people have reached a crossroad, and it is for us to decide which is the right course to follow. We are confronted with routes leading to diverse goals. But as I see it, there is only one road that I can safely recommend for us to tread, and that is the road to self-determination for the Igbo within the framework of a federated Commonwealth of Nigeria and onwards and Cameroon, leading to the United States of Africa. In other words, in my opinion, any other means, any other thing you suggest for the Igbo race will lead them astray. It will not allow them to fulfill their destiny. What Zik called national self-realization. I can't believe I'm reading this, honestly speaking. Of course, I've read it before, but to the whole world. Listen carefully to what Zik said. It would appear that God has specially created the Igbo people to suffer persecution in 1949, the same thing we are preaching today, and be victimized because of their resolute will to live. We are hated because of God's love for us. This was what Azikiwe said in 1949. God in heaven knows I've never read this before. I mean, of course, I didn't read this. I've read it before I came on air, but not before we started our agitation for Biafra. Exactly what we've been preaching, exactly what IPOB stands for, was what Zik was preaching in 1949. But why did he abandon it? I have no clue. Listen to what he said. Since suffering is the labor of our tribe, In 1949, Zik is saying that the label of these very people, this IPOB, these Biafran people, is to suffer. That is why in their so-called Niger, everybody is suffering. Everybody, nobody's having fun. Everybody is in pain. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is complaining. Everybody is crying. Everybody is lamenting. Who are the people lamenting today? It's not the same people of Biafra, the same South and so-called Southeast and so-called South. We're not the ones. Zik said the same thing in 1949. But people never learned anything. They never learned anything at all. That is why we must remain very, very resolute. That is why we must remain very, very determined. It would appear that God has made us to suffer because we are loved, because we are appreciated. Zik said, is it not fortunate that the Igbo are among the few remnants? He used the word indigenous. Zik used the word indigenous. Is it? Oh, I can't believe this. Honestly, is it unfortunate that the Igbos are among the few remnants of indigenous African nations who are still not spoilated by the artificial niceties of Western materialism? Because we are a people that are disciplined in those days. Forget the nonsense that you're seeing now. This is not who we are. The people that you see within Nigeria is not who we are. The Biafrans you see, the way that the Igbos, the Efis, the way we behave in Nigeria is not who we are. And they know it. We are not easily corrupted. We are not. As a people, he said we are indigenous. Fulani is not indigenous to Africa. Of course not. They are not. They are a mongrel race. They are a mixture between the Tuaregs and the Arabs. They are not the mongrel race. They are not indigenous to Africa. It is the truth. You may not like me because of it, but it is the truth. But they came in. They managed to conquer Hausa conquered the rest for them. They conquered part of Yoruba. And with that conquest of Kwara State of Ilorin, they held Yoruba to some ransom till today. I read a comment by a Yoruba commentator who said that Ilorin should go with the North and leave the rest alone. This is it. Nnamdi Azikiwe mentioned indigenous African nation, everything that we are as a people. Listen to what he said. Is it not historically significant that throughout the glorious history of Africa, the Igbo is one of the select few to have escaped the humiliation of a conqueror's sword or to be a victim of a Carthaginian treaty? The same thing that I used to preach before. Nobody conquered us. This is one thing that the world must understand. Before the British came and Arochukwu fell in 1904, nobody ever in the history of our people, spanning over 5,000 years, nobody ever conquered us as a people. And we never conquered anybody. But they come to you and they tell that the Igbo man is domineering. But the Igbo man, despite their might and their power, never conquered anybody. But tiny Fulani with their cattle conquered everybody up until all the way to Ilorin. Now tell me who is domineering and who is not. Tell me who dominates who and who doesn't. They conquered everybody all the way to Ilorin. Igbo man never conquered anybody. Biafran people never conquered anybody. Igbo man never forced an Efik man to speak Igbo language. Never. Instead, we had in CBD. Now, who is dominating who? The same people, they come today, they take our oil, they take our gas, they pollute our land. Look at Ogoni. Ogoni is dead, finished. Who caused it? Fulani. The same people that told you that the Igbo man who could have fought to save Ken Sarawiwa is your enemy. Once they managed to cut the knife, cut us into two, they killed Ken Sarawiwa because they know there will be no repercussion. Do you see how they operate? Are you people actually learning from what I'm teaching you? Do you actually learn from what I am teaching you? Do you want to learn anything from what you learn on Radio Biafra? Because this is too much. I can't even finish it in one night. I can't. Because what Azikiwe is saying here is unbelievable. In the history before the British came, which was why I felt that it was God's design that we should be defeated in 1904, because Arochukwu became very, very corrupt. Corruption in Arochukwu. The Jukun came to Arochukwu. They brought in their deity called the Binokwa in Arochukwu. Before that, we were worshipping the one true Almighty God in heaven. They started slavery. People will go to Abaku market in Uzako and collect slaves. They will pass through Arochukwu. They will pass through Nike. From Arochukwu, they will basically stamp them and sell them on at Nike in Enugu. From Nike, from there to Jukun, to Zamfara, and they are gone. The Arabs were the first people to start slavery. And they used the Jukun to come to Arochukwu to convince our high priest then in Arochukwu that we should start selling each other. That was what happened. And God in heaven was upset. God said because of that, the same thing he did to the children of Israel, I will scatter you, I will destroy you because you have desecrated my temple in Arochukwu. That was exactly what happened. That temple was destroyed by the British in 1904. Some of you don't know this, do you? That was why God allowed them to come. Because that's how God works. The same way that the God allowed all the foreign armies to march into Jerusalem, to destroy the temple in Jerusalem, the temple of Solomon, that was rebuilt by Herod. Some of you don't know this. The same reason why the armies of Europe marched, or should I say the armies of white people marched into Arochukwu after fighting them for over 30 years. They managed to succeed in defeating, and Arochukwu fell. When Arochukwu fell, the 7 sons of Arochukwu went to the same Asaba you see today. They went to Ahaba, not Asaba. The name is Ahaba. Went to Ahaba, in where Okowa is, bringing in Fulani people to go from Ekumeku. Ekumeku was the foremost guerrilla group in the whole of Africa. Number 1 that the British feared so much. Ekumeku. That's why they don't like us. If you go to Delta State and ask for the history of Ekumeku, they will tell you who formed Ekumeku. The 7 sons of Arochukwu when Arochukwu fell in 1904. That is pure raw history that people do not know. We are well informed before that is why I keep saying to them, if you feel you're learned or you're educated, stand in front of me for a debate, and I'm telling you, in less than 2 minutes, I will destroy you in such a way that if you go back to your house, your wife will not give you food that night. With facts and figures. I'll decimate you. Idiots come out running errands for fools in Lagos, talking rubbish about Biafra restoration. Biafra, we are doing this. We went here. Oh, I helped him to get bail. Chaff. Driven by envy, greed, and jealousy. This very movement is IPOB. We sit where we are today by the grace of God in heaven, not man. Mortals cannot do what we are doing. IPOB is immortal. That is why I said, before us there was none like us. Now we are here. There can never be any like us. And when we are gone, forever and ever, there will never ever be people like us again. God's love to Biafran people is IPOB. IPOB is a gift from heaven. We love Biafra. Zeke said the same thing in 1949. And we never knew. I never saw this. And I thank whoever published this. I thank you 1,000,000 times over. I thank you now, tomorrow, and forever for this very piece. When somebody talks nonsense about Zeke of Africa supporting one Nigeria, just give them this very speech. But Nnamdi Azikiwe were deviated from this same speech. Deviated from the contents of this same speech that he gave. And that is why God said, okay, I'm going to suffer you people. And that's what we're suffering today. It is too much. I'm not going to go through it all. I cannot finish reading it because it is amazing. Hey, look at what Zeke said here. I shall now state the facts which should be well known to any honest student of Nigerian history. On the social plane, it will be found that outside of Government College Umuahia, which is where I went to, of course, the very finest secondary school in the whole world when I was there. Outside Government College Umuahia, there is no other secondary school run by the British government in Nigeria, in Igbo land. They did not want to come because they said these people are too intelligent. If we leave our pencil, before we come back, that pencil will turn into a biro, turn into a pen. They don't understand because we are blessed. After looking at us and seeing and stealing all our artifacts from our people, they said that you have no history. We asked them, but where do we come from? They said, you people, you have no history. And we bought it, hook, line, and sinker. They did not want to participate. It was only in Government College Umuahia that they existed. There was not one secondary school run for girls by the British government in Igbo land. In the north and everywhere there were schools scattered everywhere. And of course, the only thing Zeke said here to his credit is that Outside of Port Harcourt, fire protection is not provided in any other Igbo town. Because then, even the white man saw Iguacha, with the name Port Harcourt, as an Igbo town. The white man saw it as an Igbo town. That's what it was. That's what it is. Till tomorrow morning. That's what it was till tomorrow morning. Now they come and say, oh no, we are from Akraka, from Bini. People are so useless. So useless. Oh, we are Neoma. Oh, we are not Igbo. We are Neoma people. What's the meaning of Anioma? Anioma is which language? They can't tell you. Oh, it's Igbo, but we speak Igbo, but we are from Bini. Okay. So Bini people that speak Bini language, they are from Zamfara. Oh, Yorubas that speak Yoruba language, they are from Kanu Empire. This is how foolish some people are. This is how foolish some people are. This is the lineage of Okowa and some of your so-called governors. Some of the idiots that call themselves South people, Niger Delta, people without shame. You have no name. You have no history. You have considered to what the white man did to you by saying you have no history, you have no name. And the North, they used all their names to name all their states. Has it not occurred to you before? So okay, let me educate you. They have Sokoto State. Sokoto used to be called Goba, is a Hausa town. Fulani took it over and named it Sokoto. You have Sokoto State. You have Katsina. It's a traditional Hausa town from time. Katsina State. Kanu State. Bauchi State. Nasarawa State. Kebbi State. Zamfara is very old. Zamfara State. Kanem Brono Empire of the El Kanemins of this world. Kanem Brono Empire, Brono State. Adamawa Empire, Adamawa State. And then you come to Biafra land, you have a Cross River State. You have rivers. You have Delta. What does it mean? What does it mean for people there? I'm from Delta, you know. But Delta is where a sea runs into the larger body of water, depositing sand and all the rest of it. Do you know why you have Delta? It's because, you know, the ocean cannot take all the sand coming from the river. It rejects it. Now, let me tell you one thing about nature that you don't know. Nature, you see, an ocean will not allow a river to deposit any nonsense inside it. It will say no. It will push it back. That's how you have the alluvial plains. That's how Delta came about. That sand from the river, the sea won't allow it to enter the sea. The sea will push it back. That's how you have the flooded plains that you have. And somebody said that's where they come from. So you are now related to somebody from the delta of River Nile, because River Nile has a delta. Mississippi has a delta. Are you related to people from Mississippi Delta in America or from Nile Delta in Egypt? Are you people from the same delta country or affinity? Maybe one day Fulani will write in the Daily Trust and write and say, oh, Niger Delta people are related to people from River Nile Delta or maybe Zambezi Delta. And you see them jumping up and down like lunatics. Here I tell you the truth. You may not like it. It may not sound very pleasant. It may sound slightly brash, but it is the truth. And that is why we preach it. It is the truth. On economic plane, I cannot sufficiently impress you because you are too familiar with the victimization, which is our faith. Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1949 said that the entrepreneurial skills of an Igbo man led to victimization. The same thing you're seeing in Abulado today, the bombing and everything, killing of our people, seizing our land, our businesses, our houses. It has been happening from time with the support of the British. Don't you understand? When you leave your homes in 1949, they left, they went to build their houses. The same discrimination because you're loved. The same thing happened to the Jews. They scattered all over the world successfully. Built successful businesses. We are pioneers in science, in literature, in art. What happened to them? Hatred. The same thing you're experiencing. Until Biafra comes, nobody will regard you as a human being. This goes for everybody. South, southeast, and some parts of Middle Belt. It's the truth. That is the fact of life. If you keep dancing around, if they tell you in this world that Nigeria will get to the point whereby people are begging the president to come and speak to the people, will you believe it? If they tell you that Nigeria will come to the point where they are begging for 22 billion to save themselves, will you believe it? That is the height of mismanagement. And who has been in power all these years? Is it not Fulani? With a sprinkling of Obasanjo and 6 years of Jonathan. It's Fulani, the same North. They messed everything up. And when you thought your life couldn't get, or your lives couldn't get any worse, they gave you Boko Haram. And as you are coming Boko Haram, they gave you ISIS in West Africa. You wanted to breed, they gave you Al Qaeda in the Maghreb. As you are about to come, they gave you Fulani headsmen, Miyetti Yala. And as you're coping with Miyetti Yala being in government, Ansari came in as well. 5 terror groups from only one tribe. 5 terrorist groups. And you're telling me you people are normal for saying you want to be a Nigerian. You want to be part of Nigeria. Are you not sick in the brain? What Zeke said here is plentiful. It has been published on my page, I presume, by now. And I want everybody to go there and read it. It is quite amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely incredible. Every day they destroy our businesses. Every blessed day our businesses are being destroyed. When you ask them, what is happening? How do we solve this very problem? They say it's one Nigeria. Let's make Nigeria better. Let's move on. You are moving forward in a country where terrorists are killing you. We are the same people and that is what the terrorists want. Abakiari, Maman Dawra, Buratai, that is what they want you to be saying. The more you say you want to be in Nigeria, the more they kill you, the more they take your businesses, the more foolish you become, the more you bury your children, the more you cry and nobody will listen, the more the Yoruba media will ignore you, and the more your life becomes even more miserable. And tomorrow you start all over again. They keep destroying our businesses. Azikiwe, in 1949, Azikiwe said it. In Aba. He said it at that Aba of all places. Wonderful people. Aba. There is something magical about that very place. You know, Ojukwu said he shouldn't be buried unless he goes to Aba, and he went to Aba as well. They carried him to Aba, which is quite great. There's something about Aba that is magical. Very magical. As if it is the heart, the very heartbeat of Biafra itself is Aba and Ungwa. The very heartbeat itself. And funny enough, the name Aba was given to Ungwa, to that very place in Ungwa land, by people from Ekotekpene. Isn't this very strange? Aba that you see was named by people from Akwa Ibom to show that we are one people. Forget all this stupid division. I'm Igbo, I'm this, I'm rubbish. If we are different, how come I'm dancing in my village? How come I have a conquer in my village? How come I don't have a in my village? The Akaraka you say you come from in Bini, do they have a in their place? Do they have a in their place? Do they have a conquer in their place? People who cannot reason very well, and you want to challenge IPOB. You can't. As we are mourning those that died last week, this, every two days they give us a gift. All the markets are being burnt down. All the markets. Enugu, Onitsha, everywhere, Iguacha, Timber, everywhere is burning. They have given us a new gift for the week. To start the week with. What is that gift they gave us? Is that they have set their Aboju in Festac, the market, and in Amuwo, Dolphin, they've set it on fire. Who are the people in Festac? Who are the people in Festac in Lagos? The place is burning. It is on fire. They've burnt it. They've burnt the whole place down. Abulado, they say, is after the bombing there, they have come and using incendiary devices everywhere and what is called an accelerant. They pour it everywhere, they set fire to it, and the whole place blows up. That's what is happening. And you want to be part of this useless place. This is where you want to belong. This is the country you want to be a part of. You must learn the hard way as the Jews did, until Hitler started to slaughter them one after the other. In a line, one after the other. They woke up and said, oh my goodness, so there was a land that God gave to us. It's called Israel. Let's go back there. That is why today they have prestige and they have respect until you go back to Biafra land. Fulani headsmen will keep on killing you. They will keep bombing you. They will keep taking over your businesses. They will keep making your life a misery. And they will keep insulting you. That is something that they don't know. And this Nnamdi Kanu must be, who are you to control me? The same people. Okowa in Delta State, bringing Miyetti Yala, Fulani headsmen to kill his own people. should consider this. Have you all forgotten that the Sultan of Sokoto, January 14, 2018, according to a report by a Zoo newspaper, said that they are patrons of Miyetti Allah, the same Sanusi that some of you are singing and dancing over. Thankfully, after last week's broadcast, that all that rubbish has disappeared. Sanusi and the Sultan said, we are Miyetti Allah patrons, proudly. But all the governors are busy clamping down on IPOB that did nothing wrong to them. All the governors, that's what they're doing. But in the north, the traditional rulers, the governors, everybody's coming and saying, we no more Boko Haram, now Miyetti Allah, the real killers. They support them openly. And you're telling me there isn't something wrong with us in the brain. Okawa should learn from these people and all those governors that make it a habit of persecuting IPOB, helping the Fulani terrorists to gain a foothold in our land. Remember why they went to Aburi? We are always right. Any day that Yoruba will stop, any day, some people, not the Ayadebanjos and the Fanikayodes of this world and the Yinka Uduma Kings of this world, not those of those are progressives. They are very intelligent people. They understand. They can read between the lines. They are not. That's not what is happening. The same way that I can as well. I believe that Biafrans and the Yorubas and the West, I believe that the East and the West should cooperate. I believe in that in order to be able to defeat this tide of terrorism coming from the North. I believe in that completely. And that is why I said we'll give men to Amotekun should that become very necessary. But isn't it very funny that the same thing, as I was reading out earlier, the same things that Zik saw in 1949 and talked about it very eloquently is what Ojukwu saw at Aburi in 68-69 and explained to go on that this is the way forward. Do you know the funniest thing? The same thing Ojukwu was saying at Aburi was what Zik said in 1949. And it's what IPOB is saying in 2020. Isn't it very funny? The same thing. The same thing. That's exactly what we're saying. The same thing. Isn't it very bizarre? And the thing about Nigeria, the zoo, is that they always realize it after 50 years. They realize, oh, we should have done that thing, oh. After 50 years. The same thing. Now, our next minister is calling for power devolution and constitutional review. His name is Bala Kaoje. He is not a Biafran. Now, what the assignment I am giving to Nigerians, those that practice journalism in Nigeria, although the name Nigeria is very funny because it wasn't given to you by an African, but since you have decided to be a guinea pig in one giant British lab called Nigeria, that's entirely your business. All these zoo journalists, I have a question for you, or something I'd like you to do. Why don't all of you go to Gowon and ask Gowon, why did you renege on Aburi agreement to reach Ojukwu? Is that a difficult question to ask? When I was going to come on air today, it actually reminded me of when I say that a black man is stupid. I have my reasons for saying so. Some of you don't like it, but it's the truth. Gowon is relying on prayers to save Nigeria. But when he had an opportunity to do something tangible to save Nigeria, he didn't do it. But he is now relying on spirit to do it for him. I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. When it was time to practicalize what can save Nigeria, he didn't do it. He is relying on prayers. Exactly the way that typical monkeys behave in a zoo, like as in Nigeria. You don't do that thing that God said you should do. After messing up and uselessing yourself, you come back and start praying to God. God is now saying to go on. What happened at Aburi that I sent you to? That is why they're killing them in the middle belt. This one is saying the same thing. Talking about what Ojukwu discussed. But these were people who were against Ojukwu. Today, now, they are saying exactly what Ojukwu prescribed for Nigeria. Everybody should be on their own. Pay taxes to the central government if need be. And then from there, we start growing as a region until all Africa becomes one, as it was before the white man came. People can travel easily across Africa without visa, without passport. The same thing today that they are now acknowledging. The same thing today that they are now beginning to acknowledge. They now understand it. What are your governors doing? They are fighting each other. This one said this, that one said that, this one said this. He has said something. Oh, Kulancha, he has said something. Rubbish. Practicalize what you're saying. They will not do it. In any other sensible place, in any other part of the world, they will come out and say, since it's only IPOB that is defending us, let us support IPOB. Come out and anything can happen. All of them together, all the 10, or should I say 11 governors of the East, can come out and say, enough is enough, and the whole North can go to hell if they want to. But everybody is there saying, but I want to be vice president. They keep betraying one another. These are the people you call. You are dying today in Lagos. They are burning your businesses because the people you open your mouth to call leaders are people who are cursed by God. Cursed by God. Keep supporting evil, and the evil will keep on consuming you. That is exactly what is happening. The time now is not about 8 minutes. 8 minutes past 8 in Biafra land. And the same number of minutes past of that. That's how you know we are live and we are direct, bringing you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They are calling for devolution now. The same devolution, the same Aburi Accord go on rejected. The same thing that Yoruba has poured on. Awolowo could not ask. As intelligent as Awolowo was, Awolowo could not ask. Go on. Why did you not accept Aburi? Because Britain told go on, if you allow Aburi, any type of limited autonomy you give to the East, they will do better than every other person. That was how they convinced Awolowo. That's all. No other reason. There is no other reason. The same way they're killing us now was how they were slaughtering us then, and Ojukwu said enough is enough. No. That is why people say, oh, why haven't you? I said, we are waiting. We want the whole world to be convinced, and also our people to understand their own responsibility. And for the world to know that it is this killing of Biafran people that will lead us to declare Biafra when the time comes. They must understand it. Right now, they haven't. But we must make them to understand it. You must make them to understand it because it is unbelievable. He is a mass murderer leading prayer session in Nigeria. Whereas the solution was in front of him. Devolution, the same thing that Afenifere is calling for today. The same thing that the very respected and very erudite Ayo Adebanjo is calling for today. The same thing that every sensible person is calling for, the same thing that Middle Belt is calling for was what Ojukwu called for at Aburi. It was agreed. Britain said to go on, don't agree. Go on, throw it away. Today, he is resorting to prayers. Instead of going back to that thing that he should have done, to make things, he's going and praying. That is how disingenuous some people are. That is how evil people are. That is why I hate Go On with a passion. Not just because he killed a lot of Biafrans. I hate it. He is a hypocrite. You know that life is based on things being practicalized. You are there. You were at Aburi. Instead of you to say, oh, I made a mistake, let us go back to Aburi and renegotiate and understand the business. You said, no, let's pray. Do you see how evil some people can be? He knows that the solution is Aburi. He knows it very well. Yoruba media, they know the solution is Aburi. They know that very, very well. But instead of them to go towards Aburi, they're saying, no, let's pray. Let us pray. That's the difference between a black man and a white man. A white man will go and find a solution to the problem. Prayer doesn't do anything unless you back it up with some action. You must know that by now. If at all, you know it. That is why you have been given an impostor in the zoo. How much evidence do you need from us? That somebody who suffered a brain tumor cannot make a remarkable recovery and start looking 40 years younger. It is impossible. In which language? Do you want me to say it in Fulfude or in Hausa so you understand it? Look at how the whole of the cabal, including their Alamajiri on the street, how they are protecting a man from Sudan because they need to hold on to power. It's the only thing they have. They have nothing. They are not creative. They are not entrepreneurial. They are not constructive in any way. They lack objectivity. They know the only thing they have is the presidency. That is the only thing they cling on to for their dear lives. Instead of Yoruba media to come out and say, this is wrong, what you're doing is wrong, hey, keep quiet. I say, oh, I don't want an Igbo man to be better than me tomorrow. Because if Biafra becomes, they know that very well. Once Biafra becomes, if they like, they can try us now. Let us do an experiment. Let us go to the UN and sign an agreement. Allow Biafra to go for 2 years. And you will see what will happen. They don't want it because we will put everybody else to shame. They know it. It is the truth. They know that once Biafra stands on its own, Africa, light will come into Africa. That is why they keep saying no all the time to Biafra. They think they say no to Biafra because they hate Igbo people, they hate the fix, they hate the BBO, they hate... No, it's not that. It's not that. They don't want Africa to be developed. They do not want Africa to be developed. That is the reason why they are doing what they are doing. They don't want it to be developed. Instead of doing what is right, you are praying. The solution is there. Your child is dying. Let's say a child contracts this very dangerous virus. Instead of you to give this child chloroquine, 800 milligram in the morning, 800 milligram in the evening, the first day, and then 200 in the morning for 5 days, you have seen the chloroquine there, or the antibiotics, or the retroviral drug, and this child is dying of corona, and you're there praying. How is that possible? And you are busy praying when you should be simply get up, pick up the drug and give the child to take to recover. You are praying. That's exactly what Gowon is doing. Gowon knows the solution is in Aburi. They know it. Every Yoruba journalist knows the solution is in Aburi, but they will never say it because of their shame, so that Ojukwu will not be posthumously vindicated. That's all. That is how petty and envious they are. That is how petty. That is how childish their minds work. That is how hopeless they are. Instead of Ojukwu is dead, is in the grave. Instead of you to give him the honor that he was right, that the basis of the negotiations in Aburi was the only way that the zoo could be saved. For everybody, for every ethnic nationality, for everybody. You rejected it. Instead of applying the solution, you're applying prayer. Let us pray. Let us pray. What the solution is there? Mad people everywhere. Mad zoo everywhere. We continue. And when you want to report the truth, they kick you out. That is what they do. Do you know why they kicked out AIT and Punch? Because I said to the media, go to Abuja and ask him questions. Let him answer. How can you have a president? Everything is written. Ordinary good morning, ladies and gentlemen. He needs to read it from a piece of paper. And you're telling me that I should have respect for Nigerians. I should respect Nigerians. You people are insane. You are mad. Your brains are not correct. All of you put together. So-called useless, hopeless Nigerians. Monkeys are better than all of you. Baboons are better. They reason better than all of you put together. You people are hopeless. How can you have a president that a common good morning is written down? Everything, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. These days he will say that he's rubbish and he disappears for another 6 months. You don't see him. If you are Buhari, stand and take questions from journalists. Only take questions. Take it live. And you see their fraud unravel before their eyes. Mad people everywhere. We will expose them. Their nightmare is IPOB and they know it. That is their nightmare. The same day that I said, I told the world that man there, they said he came back, is not Buhari, it's Jubril. They planned, they had to come and kill me. They called it Operation Python Dance. Let's go and kill him. And some idiots, they promised vice presidency, connived with them. Now one of them is in trouble. He's in very big trouble. Some idiots will say, oh, but he signed your bail bond for you because some of you are very foolish. You know nothing. The law of Nigeria says no senator should be involved in the bailing of anybody. People went and forcibly inserted themselves in my bail condition so they can control me. They don't know, I will control them instead. Do I look like somebody you can control? Mad people everywhere. This UG in there. We must speak the truth. You will not like it, but I will tell you the truth. Morning, noon, and night, I will tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth. Buhari has paralyzed the entire nation, according to these are his supporters before. These are the people calling me names. Dele Momodu, this idiot who has been making money from selling garbage. Entertaining you idiots. Smiling, should I say suffering and smiling generation. Coronavirus, Buhari has paralyzed the entire nation and shut out all its citizens like orphans, Dele Momodu. He knows that this is not Buhari. They all know. They are scared. They are cowards to the bone. To the bone marrow, they are cowards. Cowards cannot speak the truth. How can he speak? Is he Buhari? Buhari is dead in Saudi Arabia. How can this? How can that thing speak? Speak. What does he know he's going to talk about? Tomorrow, today he's short. Tomorrow he's tall. The next day his makeup is okay. The next one they cannot get his makeup right. Another time they brought two of them outside without even knowing that two of them are outside at the same time. And you see all these things. Your brain is telling you that these two people are not the same, but in your natural African stupidity, you cannot seem to accept it. Or accept the obvious. Very, very sad indeed. I know that some of you that data is a very big concern. Please go to IPOB app and listen to us, or you can continue listening via CHK scattered across Biafra land, because everywhere is buzzing tonight, I can assure you, because here we preach the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Well, everything I tell you is correct. You may not like it, but it is the truth. Buhari is dead in Saudi Arabia and Jubril is there ruining your lives, and you can't even talk. They are sending terrorists from all over the place to kill you. You can't speak. It's only IPOB that some of you people fathered by Fulani Janja will bring the war. That's all you know. That's all you know. As they are doing this, they're selling themselves into slavery. Have you read the news at all in Vanguard newspaper? How we sold Nigerians into slavery in Libya. That's what some of you to be sold into slavery. So your eyes can open. How we sold Nigerians into slavery in Libya. These are the suspects. That's what they said. Very sad, isn't it? That's all they do. They can't come out to protest. They cannot come out to join any revolution. They cannot do nothing. It's just to stay there on social media. Loretta Onoche will give them maybe trader money or give them 2,000 naira to buy data. There's some they say that they're intellectuals, writing rubbish. Eventually they agree with us. Eventually, after their whole useless intellectualizing, then you went to a school that has no roof. A community school that has no roof in the village, and you come out and say you're an intellectual, and I call you at the end of the day, they agree with us with what we're saying. That what we're saying is absolutely correct, 100% correct. They are selling themselves. Maybe this one they sell all the zoo animals. The better for everybody. Maybe those left will be able to reason properly. Those left will be able to reason properly. Of course, there are many people know that Jubril is no longer is the one running the zoo. That Buhari is no longer alive. He is no longer alive. Nigeria must return to Aburi Accord. Mike Ahamba was a very close friend of the dead Buhari. He was his lawyer as well. Mike Ahamba was a very close friend of the dead Buhari, a lawyer. These are the people that believed in one Nigeria, one APC, one CPC, one North, one East, one all that one rubbish. Today he has changed. Aburi Accord, let's return to Aburi Accord. How can you return to Aburi Accord when the idiot that's covered Aburi Accord is busy praying? Gowon is busy praying. Instead of him to address the core issue, he is busy praying. Are you telling me that all the Yoruba professors don't know that Aburi Accord is the answer? They know. Are you telling me that all the Yoruba editors of business don't know Aburi is the answer? They know, but they won't say it. Because anything that will give an Igbo man freedom, anything at all, they don't want it. Because I'm with all due apology, actually, we will put everybody else to shame. That's how God made us. You can't change it. There is nothing you can do. Biafra is inevitable. Biafra, it doesn't matter what you do. It will come. And you will see it before your eyes. And when it happens, you know, IPOB, we are very good. I will bring out this very broadcast. Somebody very intelligent will store it somewhere. And when it happens, we'll bring it out and tell you, I told you so. That's what I will say to you then. I told you. Michael Hamba is saying that we must return to Aburi Accord now. Or else, we must return now. It is too late. Too little, too late. Biafra, everything is working exactly how Elohim wanted it to work out. Exactly. to perfection. That time that Gowon rejected Aburi was when I knew that God wanted us to leave the zoo. At the point that Britain said to Gowon, don't agree, that was the end of Nigeria. It's only marking time. It will come to an end. Yugoslavia came to an end. Soviet Union came to an end. So why won't it come to an end? Why wouldn't it? As every other corrupt empire did. Every other corrupt empire did. Things are happening. Those that call themselves South, Niger Delta, we are close. Igbo man is wanting to do this. Igbo man is doing that. They are today being massacred. They call them suspected headsmen. These are Fulani people. They have now killed an ex-governorship aspirant in Iguacha that the Gowon named River State. And the white man named the capital Port Harcourt. Something is wrong with us, Maybe, who knows who will come again and give us a name and we'll accept it. Bendel, Delta. What are those names again? Bendel, Delta, Niger Delta, South. No indigenous name. Where they concoct this rubbish from, only God knows. And they answer it with every happiness. They swallow it with every happiness. God forbid. A former governorship aspirant in River State, Shoala West, was on Wednesday killed by Fulani headsmen in Alu community, Ikwe local government area of the state. He's a Nigerian. Ikwe is part of Nigeria, not part of Biafra. Some of the idiots will say. But I'm very glad today that the whole of Ikwe land is part of what we are doing. I said everywhere. When I went to Iguacha, there was no road anywhere. Everywhere was shut down. Very good people. We are good people anyway. We all have our faults. Everybody does. But all is one family. We are one family. All of us together. Regardless of our differences, regardless of abandoned properties, nothing will knock them down and build beautiful houses for our children and their children's children. I assure you of that. So forget about all those 2x2 that you have. Everything will be built fresh, from new. We will build it what will be very marvelous. I assure you of that. Shoala West was killed by Fulani people that he was serving so diligently. He's from South. Igbo man is the problem. Did Igbo man kill him? The answer is no. Did Igbo man kill him? No. Some of you never learn. Some of you never ever learn. But we are here to teach you, and one day you will learn. Shola is from Akuku, Toru, local government area of the state. He was said to be inspecting his poultry farm in Alo on March 12, 2020, when Fulani bandits, Fulani terrorists, abducted and took him away to the destination. The next thing you're hearing, his corpse was found on Wednesday around 6 p.m. He died as a Nigerian, killed by his fellow Nigerians, by Fulani terrorists. Very, very sad indeed. This is Radio Biafra. We'll bring you the truth. The whole truth. And Kuka is crying. Reverend Kuka is crying. He's a bishop, isn't he? Sorry, I'm so sorry. They call him Lord Bishop. My Lord Bishop, I'm sorry. That's what they call them. He said this is the vacuum that the political elite has exploited by turning the country into a jungle where the arbitrary rule of men has replaced the rule of law, and mere human instincts have become substitutes for constitutionalism. I like the grammar anyway, I must say. Here I wouldn't want to perhaps elevate, should I say, my spoken English to make it very difficult for people in the rural and remote areas to be able to understand what we are saying. So we try to keep it as simple as possible so that our grandmothers can follow what we are preaching here on this very platform. Because when people want to lie, they gravitate towards English language. In your local parlance, you cannot lie that easily. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, has accused Nigerian political leaders of turning the country into a jungle, into a zoo, isn't it? Everybody agrees with us eventually. Where injustice thrives. Catholic Archbishop in Sokoto, Archbishop Kuka, of course, he's outspoken. He's a man that I like very much. He speaks his mind. And he's a Nigerian. He was created by Lugard. And he's defending one Nigeria. He spoke very well about our agitation while I was in detention. After a while, he changed. But thanks to the savagery of the Fulani and their primitive brutality, he has seen the light. As everyone will see eventually. Everybody will see that Nnamdi Kanu has been right. Everybody will come to the realization that IPOB is always correct. He's now lamenting. But as I keep saying to all of them, too little, too late. Fulani will consume all of you. You'll be consumed. You see, Yoruba, keep supporting evil. Fulani will consume you, overrun you and consume you. Fulani, it's not that they are strong. It's that they are long-term and they're very strategic. And with the help of the British. What the British wants to do is to either have Nigeria poorly governed or have their zoo, Nigeria, in a perpetual state of turmoil. That is how they benefit from it. Some people, that's the philosophy of Britain, that they thrive when an African country is in disarray. That's what they love so much. You know, but I'm hopeful and I am praying that Boris Johnson will be a bit different, that he will not be like the rest that went before him, that he will be different. I'm seriously praying that the conservative government of Boris Johnson will be slightly more different from those that have gone. But that's my prayer every blessed day, that they will be able to see the light and allow people to be free as they're supposed to. But Archbishop Kuka is right. Nigeria is a jungle. People are now speaking out a bit more, which is very good. And I will encourage, I keep saying all the time that the buck stops is Yoruba media houses. They are the problem. The channels of this world, they are the big problem. Big problem. Because, as I said, a black man or black woman with stomach infrastructure tendencies would always gravitate towards corruption. And corruption is not just taking money from people at checkpoints or trying to take kickbacks or handbacks, as you may call it. When a journalist sits down and fails to report the truth, that is the worst form of corruption. And I'm directing this thing out to Yoruba newspapers and Yoruba media houses. What they're doing in Nigeria is the reason why people are dying. It is the reason why there is so much terrorism. Because they have refused repeatedly to be objective in their coverage and their reportage. Very, very important we point this out to the whole world. Because that is what is happening. But I do commend a few of them, those who have now unshackled themselves from the very despotic tendencies of the Fulanis to try and report the truth, as Punch and AIT is trying their damn best to do. We must continue. This is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct. Many people are struggling because of their data, but I'm asking them to please try and hang on or run to your neighbor's house and listen to this very broadcast this evening. It is very, very important. Very, very important. Somebody wrote something that I agree with, because when somebody writes something I agree with, I always say it. His name is Prince Justice Faloye. He's the Yoruba man. He's a progressive. He understands. And he has written that Yoruba Igbo common unity essential to collective survival of humanity, and I agree with him. Let me repeat. Yoruba Igbo, by which I mean, let them say east and south. Let's just say south of the zoo called Nigeria. East and West, the unity of the East and the West, because anytime we say this Igbo and Yoruba thing, what they will do, the Fulani will cut it out. Loreto Noche will help them cut it out, and they'll start inboxing our people, Biafrans from the coastal region. They will say, can't you see, he's making this Biafra thing an Igbo affair, forgetting that somebody has to lead. In the UK, England is at the front leading. In Germany, the Bavarian region is at the front leading. That is how it is. In the USA, you have the West Coast, the mighty California leading. That is how life is. Someone has to lead from somewhere. Someone has to lead. That is why it appears as if there is some, what I would refer to as the preponderance of Igbo people in the affairs of the East. That's the only way I can put it. This Prince Justice Faloye have written very, very clearly and emphatically that the unity of the East and the West, Igbo and Yoruba, is very, very essential. Very, very essential. And I want to reiterate this evening, that those Yoruba people or those from Ilorin who, out of one ill-conceived consideration or the other, have decided to adopt this very hostile anti-Biafra stance when it comes to the propagation of their views must also realize that the Fulanis will not spare them. The Fulani did not spare the Hausa people, they gobbled them up. The Fulani used the Hausas to conquer themselves. The Hausas conquered themselves for Fulani and handed themselves over willingly to the Fulanis. The same thing that the Yorubas will do inadvertently if they do not reverse their very distressing and annoying ways in terms of how they view things in the zoo called Nigeria and in terms of how they also report it. We are live and we are done. This is Radio Biafra. We are hastily bringing our proceedings this evening to a close, but we must warn people because there was a young man going to visit the mother. He was abducted by the Nigerian police, and that is the lawlessness that Bishop Kuka is talking about. And beaten up by the police and shot. And we are being told that 4 people have been killed by Ifeanyi Okowa and his Fulani friends in Delta State, all because IPOB is doing the best they can to repel the Fulani attack in Delta State. This man was beaten up, and please, I want the video of this man to be distributed. In Nigeria, you have the police stealing people's mobile phones in broad daylight and threatening them with guns. We also have the video as well. And I want Nigeria to understand something, both the Inspector General of Police, I want Abba Kyari and all those that run the zoo to understand something. All the evidence that we collect, everything you see on my page, every senator in America has it as well. And they take their time, of course. I do concede that this whole corona issue may have slowed things down a bit, but eventually they'll get around to it. I remember what happened in Bosnia and in Kosovo, how the Serbians were all over the place, killing and pillaging, not knowing that all the atrocities and the crimes are being chronicled very meticulously for prosecution and for the disintegration of Yugoslavia. And that did come to pass. And I want to assure those who run the zoo called Nigeria that the same fate shall befall Nigeria. It will not escape it. That I can assure. Everything you see on my page, I can tell you that frontline politicians in the West, in Europe and in America, they have it. They must know that. They have it. Don't think that we... anyway, they know. Because when they go to their meetings, they tell them what we are doing. That we are exposing them, and we shall continue to do so. The video is slightly distressing. The video is distressing of what police are doing. Snatching people's mobile phones. Abducting people and beating them up. Basically killing people for no reason. The police have now turned into armed robbers. That is what is happening in the zoo. That is what is happening in Nigeria. And that is what we IPOB and the coming of Biafra will put to an end. And deservedly so, I must say. Deservedly so. Nigeria is so lawless that a justice of the High Court, Justice Uhebu, is saying that the judiciary has collapsed in Nigeria. A lawyer. The Nigerian judicial system is said to be under serious threat given the area of injustice is gradually becoming the norm in the country because they use, now you have a rubber stamp Senate. Anything that Jubril wants, anything Abba Kyari wants, they give him. And you have the judiciary. They have so much harassed. I don't know who drew up this plan for the Fulani, how they managed to conquer everybody, a bunch of cattle rearers. How they managed to do this to people, I do not know. I don't know. They've just intimidated everybody into silence. The judges cannot do anything. Nobody moves. It's like, I wouldn't call it even a police state. It's a terror state. A state of terrorism. From top to bottom. The legal system in Nigeria has effectively collapsed. Anybody who read the report of the U.S. government, the State Department about Nigeria will know that they made it very clear there that Nigeria has effectively collapsed. The judiciary no longer function effectively. It has more or less collapsed. That is what is happening in the zoo, and that is what will keep happening until Biafra is restored. And there are people are in trouble. Those owning houses in Dubai, they're in very serious trouble. That is one. I'm a leader. I am your leader. Look at them buying houses in Dubai. Worth how much? They have 800 houses worth 164 billion naira. These are your leaders. Oh, leave him. He's our son. He is son of the soil. And unfortunately, Ekremadu was also implicated in it. That is why they want to lead you. That is why I keep saying all the time, anybody who comes out and says, I'm dying to be a coordinator in IPOB, dying to be a woman leader, dying and forcing himself to be something where they can lay hands on money, is because that person is fraudulent. Look at them. They are your leaders. Their children go to the finest schools in the world. They own 164 billion naira worth of properties in Dubai. Now you understand your stupidity and your foolishness, isn't it? You can see why they're against IPOB. They know in Biafra such nonsense cannot happen, because the accounting process in Biafra land will be open in the public. If the government has 10 Biafran, we're not going to call it pounds, of course, we change it. If we have $10 equivalent of Biafran currency, the whole world will know about it. How we spent, the whole world will know. The government gazette will publish every 10 will be public. Public hearings will be held. Look at them. These are your so-called leaders. They give them money to build Onisha, Enugu Express Road. They pocket it. They go to Dubai and buy properties. They say we are Igbo leaders. This is the Igbo leader for you. They give them money to build Igwocha, Enugu Express Road. They pocket the money. They go to Dubai, they buy houses, they come back, and they want to go and eat yam in Germany. And some of you are supporting them. That's how foolish you are. That's how foolish you are. Anyway, that is their comeuppance, and they have met it. And in the midst of all this chaos and trouble, somebody said something that I quite agree with. He's a professor. I don't know if he's professor of coronavirus or professor of physics or chemistry. I don't know. But he is the Delta State chairman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. He's an Igbo man. He is not in Ohanese. They formed a group called PANDEF because the Fulanis asked them to form PANDEF, and they formed PANDEF. It's very sad indeed, isn't it? Professor Godini Dara. He has blamed former Governor General of Nigeria, Lord Frederick Lugard, for some of the challenges confronting the nation. As I have said always, a lot of them listen to Radio Biafra, and thankfully so. I don't blame Lugard. I blame the idiots that accepted what Lugard left behind. There was Nehru, there was Gandhi, people of Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. They sat together and they said, we cannot be in the same country. I am Hindu, you're Muslim. Go your way, after the British left. And they partitioned India. But when they left, Nnamdi Azikiwe forgot what he said in 1949 because they gave him a girl from the north. Maybe he called her Aisha. Who knows? And they confused him. Started talking rubbish. One Nigeria. This man said he's a professor. He said, Professor Godini Dara said that Lugard will not make heaven. That he's in hell with Lucifer, with Satan. That's what this man said. And I agree with him in total. Whoever created Nigeria doesn't deserve to go to heaven, because Nigeria, that is why I said, I've been telling people that this coronavirus, coronavirus coming into Biafra land, coming into West Africa, that virus is actually taking a risk. Because I don't know if this virus has seen the way we mix medicine in the chemist. All we need to do is to go inside chemist and tell the chemist to mix medicine for us. One mixture and the coronavirus will go missing. You know how we mix medicine. You know those capsules, some are pink and yellow, some are red and orange. It's unbelievable. You see somebody telling the chemist, mix it, that one, put it. And he doesn't know what it does. By the time we mix everything together, coronavirus will be nowhere to be found. So what we're saying in essence is that the zoo called Nigeria is hell already. And anybody coming from there or saying he or she is a Nigerian, I just feel sorry for you. Do some of you actually reason things through? Before you say, is it because some of you are now saying, I'm a Nigerian? Not because you know it to be true, but because you want to challenge what IPOB is doing. You want to counter what Nnamdi Kanu is saying. He cannot be right. So let me just say I'm a Nigerian. But you know you're a monkey. You're a baboon. You're an animal. Because you are created by Lugard. And Lugard is being roasted beside Lucifer in hell at this moment, according to this very Professor Godini Dara, who allowed himself to be carved away from his people, who allowed himself to be deceived. All this pandef nonsense and rubbish, deception, Gowon created Cross River and River State to divide the Igbo nation. And he succeeded. We are pandef, rubbish. Go and join Ohaneze and people should continue the rubbish you've been doing before. We shouldn't have two groups in the East. It should only be one. Some of you don't reason. In the North, it's called Arewa Consultative Forum. All the way to sometimes Idoma land. In the West, you have Afenifere. It's only in the East, you have Ohaneze, you have pandef. Shame on you people. Shame on you people. You can never reason very well. Never ever is very. It's called divide and rule. It was what Lugard brought, and that's why Lugard is in hell. So this very professor, for saying that Lugard is in hell, you must also understand, for carrying on from where Lugard left off, you'll also go to hell, unless you change your ways, and unless you amend the way that you reason. Very, very important indeed. And that brings us to the end of tonight's proceedings, but I must say very hastily, or very quickly, please, people must listen very carefully to the following announcements. Very, very carefully, please, to what I have to say regarding the internal workings of IPOB, the whole world, because here nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. We must start this very evening. I am asking the DOS to please also look at the issues. I understand there are a few issues all over the place, especially in Angola and a few other places. I want the issue in Angola to be resolved as quickly as possible. And people must listen very carefully. We don't sell forms in IPOB. And I have said it before, allow me to repeat. Anybody parading himself as the leader of BSS will be dealt with from this minute onwards. There is no position like that within IPOB. I lead BSS. I lead the volunteer command myself. Nobody else does. I want people to understand that we don't sell any forms. We don't have any ID. We don't sell any forms in IPOB. Anybody giving you a form is collecting your data to give to DSS so they can come and arrest you. And having said that, I want the world to understand this. These are those who are being detained, and I want it to be published very quickly. I want it to be published also on my page. And Maka, I want you to publish this information as quickly as possible. These are the people who have been detained by Ifeanyi Okowa and his Fulani friends. Ifeanyi Okowa and his Fulani friends are detaining these Biafran people in detention centers in and around Delta State. We have forwarded their names to those that matter, and we are placing the world on notice that should anything happen to any of these people, that the Commissioner of Police in that very state, DSS Director in Delta State, and Ifeanyi Okowa's family will bear the brunt. I don't care what you give to diplomats abroad. I'm just telling you as a matter of fact. Allow me to read out their names. John Chukwuma is our state coordinator. Sunday Ashaka was also kidnapped. These are the names of kidnapped Biafrans in Delta. Because I made the announcement that we are not going to allow the Fulanis continue to rape our mothers and to kill our people. Listen very carefully. They were arrested on 16th of March 2020. There is Chidi Wanmiri, Eyi Friday, Wodo Ikechukwu, John Ojike Madabuchi, Ekene Otako, Wamama Chidi. They shot him. He has a bullet wound. And John Ibe was killed. Ifeanyi Okowa in Delta State killed John Ibe. So that when we say we will go after anybody who kills a Biafran, they will understand this. They killed John Ibe. Understand this very carefully, please. So, Alamajiri and all those Fulani and Loretta Onochie, those of you in Aso Rock listening to this program, to cut out bits of it and send to diplomats all over the world to deny me entry and stop me from propagating the news or the gospel of IPOB's restoration of Biafra. I want you to understand is that John Ibe has been killed in Delta. Any Friday and Ojo AGK were shot and taken away with their motorcycle. They were on a motorbike. They were shot and taken away. There are those who have been in custody now for nearly 3 months. Wanze Uchenna, Oko Abo, Chukwudi Obiada Michael and Aliebu Obinna, I am holding Ifeanyi Okowa responsible. I want people to know. So that when you start saying, oh, it is this, we are in Delta, you are Igbo. So you understand it very well in your stupidity. You forgot that the man that made the Fulanis justify the massacre of every Igbo person in the north is from Panam. His name is Nzob. You've forgotten that 300,000 Easterners were massacred in the north because of Nzob, who is from the same Delta. Before you start talking rubbish, you must understand that very well. Ifeanyi Okowa, allow me to repeat, and at all the Almajiris in Delta State, ensuring that the Delta State is taken over by a Fulani Janjaweed. John Chukwuma is our state coordinator, is in detention. Sunday, Ashaka PRO is in detention. Collins Nwomba Chukwudi is in detention. Ikechukwu Nwaodo is in detention. Ogodo Monday is in detention. Nwammiri Chidi is in detention. Enyi Friday in detention. Nwodo Ikechukwu in detention. John Ojike Madabuchi in detention. Ekene Otakpo in detention. Nwamama Chidi, he was shot. He has a bullet wound. They killed John Ibe. Ifeanyi Okowa and the Fulani terrorists in Delta killed John Ibe. Enyi Friday and Ojo Ejike were shot and taken away with their motorcycle. Wanze Uchenna has been in detention for over 3 months. No court because the zoo is lawless. We are innocent. We've done nothing wrong. Chukwudi Obiada Michael is in detention. Oko Abo is in detention. Aliebu Obinna is in detention. We are watching. Amnesty International is aware of what is going on. The State Department in the US is aware of what is happening. We must pursue their release. Nnamdi Obi is also in Omoahia in detention. There are people detained all over the place. This is sometimes what we have to go through in a freedom fighting, but in the end, victory will be ours. We are going to, I ask everybody who has been detained to remain resolute. We are going to make sure that everybody is released. I have the picture of the State Commissioner of Police. His name is Hafiz Mohammed Inuwa. Hafiz Mohammed Inuwa, a terrorist. He will not arrest his fellow terrorists in Fulani headsmen, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, ISIS in West Africa, or Ansuri. But he is in Delta State killing Biafrans for no reason. So I am telling Yoruba media to understand this very well before they start writing their jargon to understand this very well. That this man called Hafiz Mohammed Inuwa is in Delta State killing Biafran people. He is in Delta State facilitating the takeover of Delta by Fulani terrorists. That's what he's doing in Delta State. And the world must be aware of what he is doing. Not tomorrow. They will say they don't know. I want his picture everywhere. I want his picture everywhere. I want the world to understand what these evil people are doing. Please, and I also want the form to be circulated. The form that they are circulating all over the place saying that it is from BSS. It is not from BSS. There is nothing like BSS. BSS is silent. You don't see them. Allow me to repeat. BSS is silent. You don't see them. When we launch our security outfit, the whole world will see for themselves how we have structured our security in Biafra land. It is very, very important that whoever is spreading himself as BSS leader should stop doing that with immediate effect. Very, very important. And also, I am compelled to talk about the Elders Council. There are about 3 versions of our Elders Council. I am collapsing all of them tonight. It is an order. All the Elders Council, Bisho, Big, and all of them stand dissolved now with immediate effect tonight. I am convening a meeting of all of them, and there everything will be resolved and sorted out so we can move forward. The way things are going with our elders, I do not like it. I am dissolving all the Elders Council tonight. All 3 of them stand dissolved from tonight. I have instructed our national coordinator Ikechukwu to convene all of them together so I can address them and have this matter resolved as quickly as possible. as quickly as possible. I've also lifted the suspension of Mbise family that was suspended from the worldwide family of IPOB. And I've also instructed the Biafra National Coordinator to reinstate those that were principal officers prior to their suspension. And also I must say this evening that no coordinator of any sort should be responsible for our relay stations, and neither should they tamper with our finance officers. They are not supposed to. It is an order from me. No coordinator should have anything to do with our relay stations, and no coordinator should have anything to do with the funding. And I'm sure a memo has gone out to that effect. Authentic receipts can only be issued by the audit team. No other person can. Only receipts issued by the audit team is regarded as valid. Akwa Ibom State Coordinator, I must say, is the principal officer in Akwa Ibom State. I repeat, Akwa Ibom State Coordinator that I appointed is the principal officer in Akwa Ibom State and is not answerable to any other person except the Biafra Land Coordinator. There are those that want to play Godfather in Akwa Ibom, and I won't have that rubbish in IPOB. It doesn't happen here. We are not the zoo. Akwa Ibom State Coordinator is the first servant of IPOB in Akwa Ibom and is answerable to Biafra Land National Coordinator. If I find anybody intervening, interrupting, interfering with his work, that person will be expelled from IPOB regardless of who you think you are. You will be expelled. I will announce your expulsion on air and you'll be off. You'll go out and you will write whatever rubbish for 2-3 weeks and you will disappear into oblivion as the rest that went before you. Be warned, please. Akwa Ibom State Coordinator is the principal officer in Akwa Ibom State and is not answerable to any other person apart from the Biafran Coordinator. There should be no outside interference or meddling because only him is responsible for the growth of Akwa Ibom family. Let me also make it very clear tonight by announcing once again that there is nothing called Aqua Cross. Nothing called Aqua Cross. We have Akwa Ibom family, we have Cross River family. If you're from Cross River State, you go to Cross River and join the family. If you're Akwa Ibom, you go to Akwa Ibom. If you're from Akwa Ibom or Cross River and you're resident or domiciled in Iguacha, you join the Iguacha family. As simple as that. Don't be in Iguacha and fomenting trouble and calling yourselves Aqua Cross. That is rubbish. That group doesn't exist in IPOB. As I said earlier, no group exists inside IPOB. IPOB is one family. There are some power-hungry people that wish to slow us down or the pace of our progress in Akwa Ibom and in Cross River State. Let me warn those people tonight to desist from doing anything that will lead me to announce their name on air for the world to know who they are. Just leave our coordinators alone to do their work. If you want to chip in your assistants, you're more than welcome to do so, but do not impede the very wonderful work that they are doing. Do not impede it. We are not like the zoo. I'm also announcing this evening that the office of the Lagos State Coordinator is hereby terminated. It no longer exists. I repeat, there is no longer any office of State Coordinator in Lagos. They failed woefully to anticipate the attack on Abulado. And for that, the Lagos State Coordinator of IPOB is hereby removed from his position. The respective senatorial coordinators are now the 3 principal servants we have in Lagos State, and they will henceforth report to the Biafra Land Coordinator. Lagos State and all family meetings outside Biafra Land and right across West Africa will be audited by our audit team led by Amarachi Ibe. I am instructing every coordinator and finance officer of every unit and every zone within Biafra Land and outside Biafra Land all the way across West Africa to have their books ready for inspection by our audit team led by Amarachi Ibe. Failure to comply will mean instant expulsion. Let me repeat, every country, zone, and unit across West Africa must be audited. I said must be audited. You must be prepared for that. I expect senatorial coordinators in all states, except Lagos, to obey their state coordinator, especially in Abia and in Ebonyi. You must recognize that state coordinators represent me. Every coordinator represents me wherever they are. If you see them, you are seeing me. That is the way it is in every freedom fighting movement all over the world. Ours will not be any different. This movement is led by me. Any coordinator you see standing in front of you is representing me. You must respect them. In Abia, in Ebonyi, across Biafra and across the whole world, you must respect your state and national coordinators. But, however, if you have any issues or complaints you wish to raise with your relevant superiors, then you're more than welcome to do so. That is why Chike Doziem is there as the head of Directorate of States that oversees the running of IPOB on a day-to-day basis, is there to deal with any complaints you have. And I'm asking him to please look into Angola and report back to me. Let me know exactly or precisely what is happening in Angola. And I'm also making it very clear this evening that there are people in Uvurowo village in Asa, Umudioka Autonomous Community in Osisioma government area. These people, Mr. Oliver, his deputy is Mr. Igwe, and somebody they call Mr. Ike, they should stop with immediate effect in interfering with IPOB activities. I repeat, they must stop with immediate effect. We don't have anything like Bakassi in our land. They have not done anything before in the past. The governors are trying to resurrect them to do their dirty work for them so that the Fulanis can come in. There is nothing like Bakassi in this very village. There is somebody called Eguzoro, Alpha Mefuna, Ihechinyane, and Owele. This is a direct warning to all of you. You must desist immediately. I don't know if you are fathered by Fulani people, that is your business. But we are IPOB, we have come to secure our land and to make sure that we live in peace and harmony going forward to restore Biafra. All this Bakassi nonsense is a relic of the past. It does not stand at this precise moment. It has outlived its usefulness. It is a den for armed robbers to intimidate people, and we will not have that in Biafra land. If you are the leader of any Bakassi anywhere in Biafra land, I give you an order to stand down. If you do not stand down, you'll be dissolved. As simple as that. Either peacefully or forcibly, anyhow you want it. We are IPOB. It's as simple as that. We are here to secure the lives and properties of our people against real, imminent and potential attack from Fulani terrorists. That brings us to the end of our program this very evening. I once again reiterate that Radio Biafra, this very platform, is unbreakable. Unbreakable. Because Biafra is our religion. The only place we worship is here on Radio Biafra. Because Elohim Chukwukikadaprumiyene is our God. We have no other God apart from one indivisible God in heaven, who will guide, protect, and keep us safe in this very time of coronavirus plague. Because I want all of us to see Biafra, that the will of God may be fulfilled in our lives, in our time, to serve his purpose for Africa, now and forevermore. He said, from me, from here, it is good evening.